Anyway, guys, again, thanks for tuning in, and we're gonna talk some fishing and some stuff tonight. We hope you will be as interactive on the comment section as possible, and we hope to answer any and all of your questions like that. So again, want to do a little business first, as always, before we get started, and we'd like to thank State Farm and the Cassidy Agency for helping to support here at Fish North Georgia and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And again, guys, from your, I'm going to be honest, I don't think about insurance that much, and I haven't until here recently, as I got talking more to Chase Epley, our guy here with State Farm. A lot of things you can do and a lot of smart things you can do, smart decisions. And we want to talk about that personal article policy that State Farm has. Again, we're talking about every week. You hear me say, you can insure your rods, your equipment, your sonar, stuff like that from loss, theft. And when I say damage, and that's damage caused by you, which is definitely something that I have been guilty of. But again, just something to think about. And I encourage you to give a call to Chase at the number 678-779-7269, or you can email him chase@CassidySF.com. There's a sign in the background, makes it easy for somebody like me. Chase, listen, Blake does look straight 90s.
I like this hat.
You look a bit like a young Jeff Gordon.
You know what? No. That hat's confused. It can't decide if it wants to be a flat bill or not.
It is.
You know what it is?
Seriously,
it's old
guys.
skill. That's an old school Bill Dance hat. Is what that reminds me of.
Is that what it is?
That's exactly what that
No,
reminds
Bill
me
Dance
of.
wears a trucker, though.
He does,
well,
but
regardless,
the front of it and the bill
I think I
reminds
need to
me of an
start
old
finding
Bill
that.
Dance.
Do you think the hat makes Blake, or Blake makes the hat?
Blake makes the hat.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Especially
Okay,
Georgia
we'll
Blake
go with
Company.
an early question then. More iconic fishing hat out of the old TV fisherman.
Orlando Wilson.
Orlando Wilson, Georgia, Atlanta
sir.
Braves. Atlanta Braves.
Yes, sir.
You gotta go with the Braves. I'm not
exactly
voting Tennessee for
me.
nothing.
Nope.
I mean, seriously, I'm a Georgia boy.
I
But
like watching Bill Dance fall off his boat.
I do.
love those old school.
I can't get
skits.
enough of those.
God,
blue
they're
reels.
so
When they're
classic.
Missouri, Georgian, Scottster. That's a heck of a name right there, buddy. So that's awesome right there.
He was in with us on Tuesday.
He was. I just like that
Nailed it,
name right
C-Spall.
there.
I think we need to get some more old school hats. I like this hat.
You like that hat?
I think we need a lot. Hey, if anybody wants to bring us some old school hats, autograph them, put them on the roof, and I'll wear them.
Autograph them, put them on the
Yeah,
roof.
I
and
got to
wear
do
them.
the same.
I
Not
think-
with this Joker though.
I think I'm going to start
Um,
rotating hats every.
Is that
every
what it is?
episode.
Is that
Somebody
what it is?
bring me a hat. Just don't have lights. You
Ron Pendergrass, the topic tonight is now officially it's
Hmm.
using bass skills and how that translates into trout fishing.
Correct.
But again, as is the case with here at Fish North Georgia, we have no idea.
We're gonna have a good time.
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna
Hey,
talk about
he
this. It
sent
can go
me-
wherever it wants to go.
He sent me a list of step by step what we're talking about, and we've got to
That's-
go by that.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We
with
can
it.
we can be strict like this, yeah. We must do it by the book.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. So
Da.
I'm gonna assume the Germans are here in the house tonight. But all right, whatever.
We must be efficient.
Efficient and whatever it is that we are. But this,
Capital fish.
it is what it is.
Capital fish.
What I can
Efficient.
tell you is we're gonna have a good time.
Yes.
So regardless of what we talk about, it's going to be a good time. So if you are watching tonight, we hope you stick with us. And if you're watching later, we hope you enjoy what you're getting ready to watch. So got a couple again. Let me finish this though. I don't think did I ever even finish the State Farm? My plug for,
you
Chase
said,
at State Farm.
you said Chase Epley.
Chase Epley.
You said
Hey,
personal
Barday.
article protection policy against loss, theft,
Danny
and
gets
damage
that
from
bar
yourself.
stuff. Roll
upside down kayak
Tide,
policy.
Absolutely. And,
That's-
and regardless, what you need to do is I want you to call Chase Epley and tell him Fish North Georgia sent you. And it's at 678-779-7269. And just talk to him about, ways that you can protect your stuff. And that's just being honest, because we all have come across breaking our rods and stuff. And some of these,
I just did that.
some of these warranties are great, but they only are warranted if you break when you got the rod. It's not against loss or theft or stuff like that. So anyway, give Chase a call.
What?
What?
Need another plug. How many FX rods you got upstairs now?
I got a boatload of FX rods upstairs.
Biggest dealer around in Georgia.
I'm
you think?
one of, if not the.
Guys. If you want a great rod, come check out. Or
That's right.
Check out the store.
Come to the
Great
store.
FX rods. Absolutely love them. I'm wanting to change my whole boat over, but
Well, I just picked up
narrow
one
the
tonight.
narrow.
You
That's
know,
right.
you guys know I just
Yep.
picked one up tonight, so I'm gonna be putting in the work with that joker on some trout.
is
and
awesome.
other
You're gonna love
species
that
very
rod,
soon.
too.
it looks
George
too
Smith,
good.
how you
Looking
doing,
forward to
buddy?
that.
Raymond Wood, have y'all heard about the changes to the Georgia Bass Nation High School tournaments? Actually, you know what?
I have not.
We have not. So why don't you fill us in while I talk about this next little thing, and we may talk about it here. So,
Are they limiting field size? And
I
Lord
would
knows.
be totally with limited field
My
size.
goodness, they have like
that'd be
300
cool.
boat
Oh, no,
tournaments and
that's
stuff like that. It's
ridiculous.
crazy, but whatever it is. But, guys, you've heard us for the last, we've heard it since the episode. We have Fishing for Warriors. It is a organization. Absolutely. Yeah, there. I don't know if you can get a thing in, but that
Just go
is
in tight on
the
Phil.
go tight. Can you go tight right
tight
there?
on Phil.
Yeah.
Boom.
Listen, at Fishing for Warriors. And guys, listen, it is an organization that
Yeah.
does great things for vets, people who have served. What they do, they take them out for a weekend. On Friday night, they have a night of fellowship. Saturday, they take them out on a lake and they pre-fish. And then Sunday, they have a tournament. And so what they're going to do, and what we're going to do is raise money for them and try to support them here at Fish North Georgia. And we've got one of our own, which is Justin Speece. We've been talking about this for a while now. And I'm going to read this. He has a tournament. It is a first annual Fishing for Warriors kayak tournament. Saturday, March 20th on Lake Lanier. It's a $50 registration fee, $40 entry plus $10 big fish. And 50% of all the funds will go to Fishing for Warriors. It's got some modified KBF rules. I have no idea what in the heck that means, but for you kayakers, I know that you will understand that. And the full lake is open south of Lula Bridge. Lines in at 7 a.m., out at 4 p.m.
Danny, is KBF standing for kayak bass fishing?
Yes, it
no-
does.
Is that what it
Okay,
stands
just
for?
making
Yes, it
sure.
does.
No, listen, you guys. Yeah, absolutely. I guess so.
Okay.
KBF is kind of the default rule set for most kayak leagues. There are definitely we'll
Okay.
discuss the modifications captain's meeting.
Okay, yeah,
night
'cause-
before.
Copy on that.
So what he said is check in at Sherry's Bait and Barbecue by 5 p.m. Pre-register with at Justin Speece, SPEECE. Live registration. Let's try that again. Live registration day of the event, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. at Buford Dam Bait and Tackle. And one of the cool things about it is he's running a raffle. All right, we've been selling tickets here. They're $1. He's got about $400 to $4,500 worth of prizes that this boy has actually. He's gone around to all these businesses and he has busted his butt to get things for this raffle. All right, all the money in the raffle goes straight to Fishing for Warriors. They got about a $20,000 budget, and one of the goals here at Fish North Georgia, if you have been under a rock and haven't heard, we're trying to raise this. What we're going to do is if we meet the $20,000 mark in 2021, we're going to shave Justin Aaron Brooks' mullet off because, my God, they all should be shaved off.
You just
And
love
number
shaving
two-
mullets.
Yes. And number two, we're going to tattoo Fish North Georgia's logo on his backside, which is what
Did
I
you
will
figure
do.
out if that's been partially done, or are you going to get somebody who can make it look good?
I'm not going to do it.
But you're getting somebody who actually knows how to tattoo.
Well,
right?
we would get a tattoo guy to actually do it. I mean,
Just
don't you
making
think?
Sure, don't make it look like crap.
Well, I'm not going to do
Well,
it.
it's
We're not
his
doing it.
logo.
We're not giving him a prison tat.
Oh well, I mean, we can figure out if that's what we want to do.
So
You got a needle and a
If he
cement.
start, I was
We'll
going to
just
say, if he
poke his
starts
butt.
taking an ink pen apart, you know what's
I
going
mean,
on.
my God. All right, so Justin Speece. I also have 2 full paid entries for anyone not able to pay for it. And I will also lend my yak for anyone who wants to fish it and don't have a yak. That's pretty cool. But anyway, guys, listen, it's a kick butt organization. I've been put on the board here. It's a 501c. It's not for profit, and we're going to figure out all that stuff. But we're going to try to support these guys from here on out. Guys that go overseas or wherever, and they give oftentimes their physical well-being, many times their mental well-being for us. So that, on a Thursday night, we can sit here in front of a bunch of cameras and talk about fishing. Guys, the reality is there are men and women who are putting their lives in danger so that we can do that. So, definitely we want to make sure that we do that. It is a great cause, and we want to support them. But if you come by the shop, I guess we got I don't know when he's going to cut it off, but we're selling the tickets here for $1 a piece, or you can get with Justin Spees on Facebook and buy those. So definitely support this, and you can win some great prizes. Now, Raymond Wood is, let's see, remind kayakers that there will be a bass boat tournament at a Little Hall that day, and please fly your flags on your kayaks and try not to be in the channels that say fly. I will say this, Alan, let's reverse that, and let's you remind all the boaters that there will be a kayak tournament going on that day, and to make sure as well that you're watching out for them. So that works both ways, and both groups should be safe.
I'll let my freak flag fly.
Let your freak flag fly. Now let's go back to Raymond Wood. The TDs will finish. I don't know what TD will finish the season as Bass Station High School and change this next season.
There's something higher up about it.
Yeah.
Change to like MLF.
If they're changing
instead
high
of-
school tournaments to MLF format, I do not agree with that.
Directors are moving to MLF student bass fishery.
I don't know if that's changing.
What's that mean?
I don't know. It sounds like they're going to try to change it to MLF format. I don't like that.
Okay, well, regardless, it's coming.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, hey, slide back up there real quick, Josh, if you don't mind. A couple places above, there was a question already I saw, and we'll try to get on there.
Jonathan, a mullet is a bushy rat tail. It's a styled rat tail.
There you
That
go.
wasn't the question I was going with, but there you go. All right,
No, but that needed to be called out.
that needed to be called out. All right, let's do this. There was a question about a guide trip, and we will let's answer that real
There
quick.
it is.
What is your favorite bait and color for Lanier this time of year?
I got
Real-
white underspin still.
White underspin. You're going with
White
underspin.
underspins,
You know,
That's a lot of stuff going on.
it's a lot of
right now.
stuff. You can get
You're
a jerk
about to
bait,
pay that guide a lot of money.
You shouldn't be asking.
Put your
that.
trust in him.
Yeah.
Put your trust in.
Well,
Yeah,
Always
so
is. You could be
Bring him some boat snacks too. They like that.
bologna
boat
sandwich.
snacks. I'm gonna tell you now, just go with green pumpkin, whatever it is. So anyway, let me read this, and then let me introduce this. Let's do this real quick. I'm gonna introduce my star-studded panel here. Of course, to the left of me is Blake, who needs to grow up and forget the mullet Buchanan.
Love that hat.
I'm halfway to 50, so I guess I need
He's
to start
halfway to
growing up.
50, and
Y'all
so
are
he's an
old.
expert in everything. Just like my son and my kids, he thinks he knows a little bit of everything. But we're glad to have you
I
back.
do know a little bit.
We're going to let you talk a little more tonight. You know, the other night we had an expert on, and you really didn't get a lot to say. And
I
neither did
listened and learned.
I know we listen. We listen to Bill Payne, and that's what you should do when Bill
Is he
Payne's
going to
talking.
grace our ears
with
with-
knowledge?
with some incredibly poetic reading?
He
tonight?
is. You guys need to stay tuned to the poetic reading
Yes.
tonight.
Tell your friends to
I was
drop
going to
by.
make you do it, but I
I
think
can
it'd
do
be-
it. No, I'll do
I know,
it.
but listen, you're
I can do
smart,
it.
and he's not. I want him to do it. I think you're smart, son.
Damn.
I'm just playing.
Why you got to be this way?
Because I like you, and you're like my little brother, and that's what I do to little brothers.
He's
So
not
you're
wrong.
that ass older brother that wants to pick and beat up on the little brother all the time. Huh?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
yes,
But if it hits the fan, he's got your back.
I got your back. I ain't
Apparently.
gonna let nobody else mess with you.
You have already once or twice.
I have. Ain't nobody
Yeah.
gonna mess with you, but
You
I
got
can.
me.
That's right. So, and again, across from me is Paul Coonan. I want to make sure I say that
Hey.
right. I got it right.
Nailed it.
Tonight he is.
He's
No, Blake is not drinking Fanta. Okay, he does not have a Fanta, although it is a
It's actually Fago.
Fago.
Fago, yeah.
Hey,
we
Tatum, how you
we
doing,
can't
baby?
afford Fanta around
Um,
here. So
Daniel Duckett, hold on to that question right there. We will make sure we get to you. But Paul is actually not behind the scenes tonight. He is on camera tonight with us because I need some help with our next guest, Phil Hutchinson. Because
Hutcheson.
Hutchinson,
That's what you
because
need to make your last name, Hutcheson.
is it
It's-
Hutchinson or Hutchinson?
Ooh.
Hutcheson. Like the
Hutcheson.
word Hutch and then ESON.
Because you're
Start
smart,
strong,
and,
Scott.
and
Sure,
our
I like Hutcheson, though.
our
It's got something
combined
going for it.
IQ might be able to keep up with you tonight.
I mean, I'm still the dumbest guy in the room. I don't know what y'all. are
Shut up,
talking
quit
about.
lying. All right, so that's crazy. So yeah, but anyway, so again, Phil's here, and if you guys remember, he is one of the
Hi,
most.
Tatum.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. Appreciate that. Get that out of the way for me. He is one of the most talked about guests we have had, as far as
Man.
the brainage and the wisdom that he
Y'all are gonna see some
out-
applied science here in a little while.
listen. Don't hurt us.
No. The results. I sent them to you.
I know, but I didn't read them.
No. I sent you the pictures a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you did send the pictures.
Yeah.
I haven't
Begging.
seen the pictures.
There's
So
a
big,
fish
and we're
story.
gonna talk
There's a
some
fish story to be told.
big fish are
Couple
coming down the
big
line.
fish.
So anyway, Oh, hey, listen, let's get this one. I've got, okay, look, we got to do this real quick because I've got a guy waiting on me. So let's do this segment and then we will get to all your questions and everything. So Peach State Kayak Anglers. All right. We have sponsored them here at Fish North Georgia. And, one of the things that we want to do is we're going to bring one of the winners of their tournaments on for a quick interview and tell you a little bit about Peach State. And so I want to do that right now. This past weekend, they fished on Lake Seminole, okay? They had a record field of 63 anglers with one half being their first ever event with Peach State. All right, and listen to these things. That big fish was caught by Rick Godfrey, 23 inches. Now, Paul, I'm a bass fishing guy, so you're going to have to equate what
it's about a 7.5, 8 pound.
About a 7.5, 8 pound bass.
That's
all
a
right.
damn good fish.
That's a good fish. So again, guys, remember this is kayak guys. So these guys are measuring it. Third place was Nick Dyer with 88.5 inches. All right.
Nick Dyer can ball, dude.
Can he
He's a
ball good?
fish.
He won $255. Second place was Brandon Hewlett with 91 inches, $475. And first place was David Cottrell at 96.5 inches. He won a cool grand in that tournament. Peach State's next tournament will be on Lake Eufaula on March 27th. And you can find out more information on them on their Facebook page or on Tourney X. And what we're going to do right now, if we can, we're going to pull. There he is. There is the man right there, David Cottrell. David, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
We need to get your volume up. What are we doing here? Hold on a second.
Make sure you're not muted on your
Are
end,
you
David.
muted on your side over there?
No, I'm not.
David is in Oklahoma somehow. Can you hear me, David?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Okay, we're still we're still
We cannot hear you.
Yeah, we
but we
cannot
can read
hear
your
you.
lips.
we can read your lips. He's checking the audio and everything's good.
Man, that guy loves his Harley.
Huh?
That guy loves
The
his
guy
Harley.
that just went by you. We can hear that Harley. Let's try this one more time. What we're going to do is we were going to bring David in here to talk about this tournament. He is in Oklahoma. I talked to John with Peach State.
Okay, so
Everybody
else can hear him except us.
Everybody can hear him except us. Okay, so listen, David, here's what we're going to do. Last year, and you're going to talk to everybody else is going to hear you but us. So we're just going to go from there. That's just the way this rolls. How does it feel to get the win on Seminole?
Oh, it feels good. I mean,
There you go.
There it is.
we were pre-fishing about a month ago for the big Hobie BOS event, and we had gotten into some good fish pretty much in the same area where I caught them last Saturday, and a big cold front rolled through, of course, for that Hobie event, and I caught 8 fish in 2 days.
Okay.
And still finished 37th out of 175 people, but not what I wanted,
Mhm.
and I knew the fish were in there. It was just, that time of the year, that cold front. And, but that's why last Saturday was so special, because I knew when the temps were in the 80s that we were going to catch them in there. And, we didn't even pre-fish for it that week. We just drove up, me and my buddy Shane Williams, and we just drove up that morning, met at the boat ramp, and went out there and did our thing. So Shane wound up coming in 4th place that day.
Okay, that's awesome. So going into this tournament, what was your strategy? I mean, what were you thinking was going to happen?
Going in, I was pretty much what they did was, they had been staging for the spawn, and I was hoping to catch them shallow. There's where we fished was a bunch of pads and grass. We had caught them 3 weeks ago on some grass and on a chatterbait, and
Right.
go figure. But when we got there Saturday, we were hoping they had moved on up even shallower. So we had fished the grass. Shane wound up catching about an 18, 19 inch, about a 3.5 pounder, and I lost a good one. But we fished for about an hour or two, and I noticed that they weren't in the grass anymore. So I moved shallower and started catching here, here and there, and probably caught them in about 10 to 12 inches of water, sometimes less.
Wow. Okay.
That'd been a good time.
Dirt.
What was your biggest fish of the day as far as lengthwise and estimated weight?
21.75, 21 3/4 inches. And she had a belly on her. She was probably 6.5 pounds, I'd say.
Okay, what'd you catch her on, if you don't mind us asking?
A worm,
Worm, shaky head, Texas rig, what?
Texas rig. Yeah, Texas.
Texas
Most
rig,
of
okay.
most of the stuff I caught that day was on just a Texas rig, June bug or green pumpkin worm. I swapped the two out. Uh, I tried to chatterbait a few times and couldn't get bit as well. I was catching some, but they weren't the right size. And then I threw a worm up shallow a couple times, and you could see them wake after it. I mean,
Right.
they were tucked all the way back. I'm assuming just getting ready to bed. And I was just running down certain banks, and I'd catch 2 or 3 on about a 30-yard stretch.
Mhm.
So
And
what do you think for the spawn report? How long do you think they're out? Week, 2 weeks? You think it's about time?
I think it's time this coming up week. I mean, if the weather, I'm in Oklahoma and it's 50 degrees now, but if it stays in the 70s down there, close to 80, I think they'll be on bed this week, if not already.
There's your Seminole spawn
Seminole
report.
spawn report right there. Okay,
Yeah.
so are you going to participate in Peach State's next event on Eufaula?
I'm not. I had to take a couple days off to come up here for this event, and I'm actually working that weekend. And
Okay.
I'm in Mobile, so I'm still, Seminole's about 3.5 hours from me, and
Okay.
Eufaula's about 4. But no, I can't make that one. So I
So
wish I
what
could.
do you're in Oklahoma now, correct?
That's right, yes, sir.
Okay, so what are you doing up there? You said an event up there.
The Hobie BOS event, the big, Hobie Trail. That
Mhm.
the first one was on Lake Seminole back in first week of February,
Okay.
and there was 175 guys in that one, and a guy named Brian won that one. He won almost $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's big time. What lake you gonna be fishing?
Broken Bow.
Okay.
Big
All right.
fish.
So I was going to ask you about Eufaula, but let's ask you about this. And what can you expect in this tournament?
Whew. Man, I have no idea. I've never been to Oklahoma. Just a little research that I've been able to do on it. It's a deep, clear lake. It's nothing like Seminole. I mean, I knew going into Seminole, I was expecting to fish shallow, with a worm, basically.
Right.
Here, I mean, the water's still cold. It was, 5 degrees here 2 weeks ago. But there's a million points out there, and that's my plan tomorrow. Tomorrow's my only day to pre-fish. I just got up here a couple hours ago, but I'm gonna just run some points and see if I can't find a couple brush piles. So.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, listen, David. Listen. First of all, we want to wish you luck on this upcoming event.
Okay.
We've got something to pay attention to now. We'll see how you do. Congratulations on winning the Peach State event here on Seminole, and we look forward to maybe just kind of keeping up with you as the year progresses. And best wishes, and we appreciate you coming on tonight and just sharing a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, and I want to thank John Hummel for putting on the event. That event last weekend, Seminole had a record show out. It had 63 anglers, I believe, show up to their event, which was a record for them. And so I plan to fish a couple more, even though it's most of their events are 3, 4, 5 hours away. But with a good payout like that, 1-day event, I'll make a few more of those.
Absolutely awesome. Well, listen, don't be a stranger. We wish you the best of luck, and thank you for coming on tonight.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good
thanks
one.
a lot.
Have a good one.
Take care.
That's awesome. I mean, we got through the technical difficulties right there, and that's a solid report. I mean, he went in there looking for something, and again, it's it's kind of a testament to the way this kayak stuff's blowing up. I mean, he's in Oklahoma fishing.
$10,000.
That's a lot of ducats right
I
there.
wonder what
Yes,
the
it
entry
is.
fee is on that.
I'm BOS not off the top of my head.
I do not know, but it is pretty cool that
It's-
he's fishing this one here. He's going to go to Oklahoma. He might come back. Didn't he say he was out of Mobile?
Yeah, he's out of
Yeah.
Mobile.
That's awesome. So,
That I'll tell you what too, because I follow like we were talking about. I'm old school and I like old school Jimmy Houston, so I follow him a good bit on YouTube and just seeing how dang cold it's been out there in Oklahoma the past several weeks.
It's been miserable.
It will be
Yeah.
interesting to see how he does in that tournament
For
It
sure.
will be. We'll have to keep up. Did anybody catch? It's Hobie, right? That was the
Yeah,
Hobie
the Hobie
tournament.
tournament.
$260
It's
entry
$260
fee.
to get in one of
Wow.
those BOSs.
Good
That's it.
night. Yeah, he is fishing the kayak tournament there.
I wonder how many entrants they usually have.
It's probably a ton.
Well, you
at
said
a
they had
Hobie tournament.
135 on Seminole. So I mean,
That's a bunch,
a-
regardless of what they had. So
Mhm.
anyway, the kayak guys are
They're finding their niche.
they're finding their niche, and exactly what Chris just said. That's what we're shooting for in the Total Electric, with the elites and stuff like that. Yeah, we're trying to grow it to where it's a national type thing, where guys that have the means and have the ability and have the want or the wherewithal to go to another state, and jump right in, and
Well, like you were talking about doing the regional aspect of it.
absolutely,
I think
man,
that's
it's
a
awesome.
great idea, especially as grassroots as bass fishing
It-
is.
You know, Daniel, it only pays $1,000. Hey, listen, $1,000 is a lot of money
10,000.
sometimes, or is it 10,000?
10,000
Yeah,
for
there was
the Hobie.
$10,000 for the Hobie that he was talking about.
Now it was 1,000 for the tournament. He
I was
won
going to say
the other day,
David
right?
just won $1,000.
I have no
Yeah.
idea, but regardless, it
mean,
is
it'd be
that's some
a
good
good
money.
grand for a kayak tournament's pretty good.
Yep.
A grand for a kayak, yes.
we had one on Lanier 2 years ago that just went nuclear. I think we had almost 90 boats.
Wow.
And what was the payout on that?
That paid out, I think, 900 to the winner. A big bass was
Right?
almost as much as winning because that's a side pot. We got 89 boats. Everyone's in for $10. Only one person wins big bass.
Well, hey, listen,
You can do the math on that, Blake.
it is still good. Mac Doyle, how you doing, buddy?
Watch it there, Toothless.
we're
You're already
glad that
missing
you
one. I'll
joined
knock
in.
another now.
I'm missing more than one.
Oh,
Okay,
well,
so-
we'll knock another now.
So let's so we took care of business. Now let's get into guys. Now, if you got some questions, you can throw them in there now. I wanted to take care of that because again, he was waiting in another state for us to. We were trying to time that right because apparently Wi-Fi and cellular service in Oklahoma is not the best in some places.
Go to Arkansas. There's about
None. Okay, so we had to time that one.
service.
Service and stuff like that. So we just had
Depends
to
on
make
where you
sure.
are.
We just had to make sure that we could get him in, and
Yeah.
so we wanted to make sure we took care of that real quick. Now we brought Phil back for a couple of reasons. Number one, because when we had him on last time, we were kind of dumbstruck. Here comes a guy with this big old beard in here, and he's quite intelligent. I'm not knocking you or nothing, but you were a little more intelligent than what we thought.
You see all that white?
You know, all the white. That's just
That's
wisdom.
knowledge.
That's just all the big fish. These are
the
new
big fish?
That's
every time we
knowledge.
catch a big fish. That's
Is that
the
what
new
it
one
is?
goes in.
Then I would be. Look at me. That's
He
not
should be
how
a
it works over
master.
here.
But
I
he's
should be,
not.
but I'm not.
He's not.
I'm not. So,
Dink City.
Dink City. Dink City. If I can catch a dink, we're doing good.
yeah,
we catch
if he
dink.
can even catch one.
That's exactly right. So, Facebook user right there. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I don't know if
I'm gonna guess that.
is that him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's him.
is that him. Well, listen, David, absolutely, you're welcome. We appreciate you coming on. Definitely want to keep up with you. And no, Mac, I'm not throwing a whopper plopper. Now, the subject matter tonight is kind of a little bit different. Again, when we brought you on last time, we were going to talk trout fishing,
Mhm.
and we ended up talking about
Ecosystem.
oh, good Lord, we
Yeah.
talked about limestone. There was all kinds of stuff
We
that
got
we didn't
all
think
sorts
about
of
it.
stuff in there.
But what we talked about was the type of trout fishing you do is not the typical type of trout fishing. And so tonight, listen, guys, he sent us a cheat sheet. All right, I'll
Let
be
me
honest.
just pull this thing out.
I'll be
real
honest.
quick.
Now, listen, Blake has read it.
Getting out the show sheet.
I have been so busy today that I have not read it.
I didn't
glanced
even
at
get
it.
a show
The
sheet.
prep
And
sheet.
Paul
I
did
sent
not
it
get
to
a
your
prep
sheet.
supposed to be
I sent it
behind
to
the
your ID,
computer.
I'm pretty
This
sure.
is almost a good time for me to do a bathroom break. I'm about 31 minutes
Hey,
in. That's about right.
I've got
Well,
the sheet.
while he's pulling the prep sheet up to answer Mac's question, do I fish with a whopper plopper? I actually would love to fish with a whopper plopper.
Get out of
So
here.
he
Oh,
can
man.
step away, and what he's going to miss out on is
Here we go.
one of the guys that I guide with. He also guides up in Alaska for half the year, and we've been talking. And one of the big things that they get into that I didn't realize that everybody watching would probably love to do is they fish whopper ploppers for pike. And you're talking about that's like a fish with a bass attitude
Mm-hmm.
with teeth that's about 40 inches long
Oh, yeah.
that loves to eat topwater.
Cut you.
They can.
Yeah.
They fry up pretty good too, but those are up there in Alaska
A lot of
as
bones.
well.
When are you taking us up there?
Man, we got to have John and Micah on here.
Yeah.
I'll let them tell you about it,
Yeah.
but that's something that I have in the works myself for sure.
When are you looking on going out?
Bucket list.
I don't think this year's going to happen. Probably going to be next year, because if I want to do it, I would love to be able to stay out there for at least 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They do have trips out of Knack Knack River Camp, which is where John and Micah guide out of half the year. You guys are more than welcome to look that up. That's NAKNEK, Knack Knack River Camp up there in Alaska. Captain John McCloskey. But they obviously go after salmon, but pike is something else that they do because it's everywhere. And that's the equivalency of their bass fishing up there that they do in Alaska.
I'd like to go catch some salmon one day. Those
Man.
things get pretty big too, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like we were talking about before, that they have king salmon. Those king salmon, you can still, it's really rare, but they do catch them in the 60, 70 pound range.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A king over about 18 will try to rip your arm off.
Yeah, Paul knows about them.
They've got some pop, dude. They're powerful fish.
Yeah, they don't stop pulling.
It's crazy how strong these river fish get, but I guess it's constantly swimming against the current stuff. But the salmon come from the ocean, right?
They come from the ocean, but striper, okay?
Yeah.
So it's not too dissimilar from striper in how they pull.
Where's the cheese curds?
Because the striper,
Keep going.
man, somebody left out the cheese curds.
What happened to the cheese curds?
Oh, here they come.
Oh, hell. But striper, Georgia is the only state in the entire country where you can actually fish for Atlantic strain and Gulf strain striper, and those fish will pull just like a salmon will.
I didn't know
pull
there's
like hell.
I didn't know there's 2 strains of striper.
Mm-hmm.
What I missed?
We're talking
Well, I realized that.
about
What I missed?
Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be talking about Georgia.
You're taking us to Alaska,
Well-
Danny. All
That's
of
great.
us.
Is that where we're going? We're going to Alaska.
That's an option for sure. But yeah, we were talking about whopper ploppers and how they throw them for 40-inch pike up in Alaska.
Sure they do.
Mm-hmm.
Sure
A
they do.
Chinook hitting a whopper plopper would be over so fast that you wouldn't even realize what
happened. Yeah, it would snap your
What if
line.
I can catch a tarpon on one when I go to the Keys next
Daniel
time?
Duckett,
Do
we're gonna ask him that question real quick. But first,
Bring back Farmer. I think that's a logical starting point.
I saw a Facebook user. Guys, if you're on Facebook, we want you to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and put your name in there, fill it out, put your name in there so that we can address you as something other than Facebook user. That way it's more personal. So where do you usually trout fish? That's going to be Chattahoochee, right?
Farmer, yeah. I actually trout fish mostly in the Chattahoochee. I guide up on the Soquel, which is up there in White County. But I do fish all over. The Chattooga River up in northeast Georgia, the Toccoa River.
You ever hit the Nantahala any?
I have not fished the Nantahala yet. I did a lot of paddling on it in my younger time. And
Trout fishing good up there, you think?
so it's weird. They have a DH section where they basically stock fish for half the year, and you can fish there. In the rafting section, though, they actually have fish that are in there all year. They have holdover browns that are
Explain that. You know,
Hold
we're
over.
fast guys.
Hold over.
Break
okay.
it down for us. That's what we got you on
So
here to break
we're
down.
gonna break it down.
Are you calling us dumb?
I think
am.
Blake's calling you
I'm
guys
calling
dumb.
us. Maybe not this one right here, but me and you, Daddy. Yes.
Okay, absolutely.
So they have, just like we were talking about, sea run fish. So there's a type of sea run trout, brown trout, called the sea forellin. And they tend to get big, bulky, heavy, very, very thick bodied fish. But they actually stock some of those up there in Nantahala. And they've been in there for years. So that's one of the big appeals about going up and fishing there. I haven't done it yet, though. I've been on a quest on the hooch. And
we seen what that
Yeah.
quest ended up last.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
it? Last week.
Let's talk about that.
Do we want to go straight to the fish
Let's go
story?
straight to the fish. Let's go
Straight
ahead.
we
to the fish
can.
story. Tell
Let's
us the
go.
fish
Straight to the
story,
fish
Phil.
story. Listen to this,
So
guys.
I'm sure Josh took a screenshot of it earlier. But
Look at this right here,
what a
guys.
fish.
Look at this.
yeah, that was
Dude, the tail on that thing. It looks like
that's freaking
my
it was a
hand.
paddle.
God.
So that is a 30 and a 1/4 inch by 18 and 3/4 inch brown trout, male brown trout from the Chattahoochee River.
How you know it was a male?
You can tell by the hook jaw and
Okay.
the coloration on the body.
Okay.
Also by the shape of the body. You see the head, how it's kind of torpedo like, and then he's got that giant hump over his gill there coming up to his dorsal fin.
Gotcha.
That's a real good way to tell if you have a male or not. Another thing is, just like a salmon, they're going to get a hook jaw that's going to be very pronounced and noticeable.
The females don't get that?
They don't. They
okay,
typically do
good.
not.
That's good to know. So we learned something.
About how old is that fish?
So
do you think?
From what I've seen, all the studies I've seen, brown trout can live up to 23 years old. How old can a largemouth get? What, like 8, 10?
8 or 9, maybe.
Yeah, it's 8 or 9 years
Yeah,
old.
they can get longer than that.
I didn't think it was past a decade.
No,
terribly,
they
but
don't get that old.
I know the browns, they've checked their age up to 23 years. The fish that we have in the Chattahoochee, I don't know. Check. Oh yeah. Yeah. In fact, Daniel, we were talking about that. And that's how Daniel knows. So it's strange with the browns. We really don't know. And the diversity of the genetics that the browns have in the hooch, it's really hard to tell how old they are. That fish that I caught was probably at least a decade old.
Really?
Yeah. But he was 30, just a little over 30 inches. By the trout calculator weight, it said that he weighed close to 14 pounds.
Now, what by the trout calculator?
Yeah, there's a website you can go to that'll calculate length times girth to give you the size of the
Just
fish.
gives you a great guesstimate of the fish and all that stuff.
And that's bigger than my PB largemouth, which that was 11 up. Well, it still is.
Some largemouth live up to
If your
15
PB
to 20
largemouth
years in
is
colder
the
areas.
teens, that's doing something.
I'm just a little guy.
I'd like to get in the teens with the largemouth, but I mean, I've been so focused on that 30-inch
So,
brown.
Ron, that's an interesting statement. Get Ron up on the screen.
Yeah,
so the colder water species. There's something about that.
They live longer,
Yeah,
especially
that's the slower metabolism. They don't age as quickly.
Same thing with trout and salmon.
It's the same thing. They tend to live longer. Like lake trout live forever.
They do.
60, 80 years
Yep.
more.
Good Lord.
Seriously?
Mhm.
Yeah,
60 to 80 years.
Lake trout live for ages.
Cold water species.
Wow. I didn't know that.
They're built so much differently than warm
More
water
hardy,
species. Yeah, like bass and whatnot.
Well, they have two strategies. You either live forever and you get big very slowly, like a laker.
Yep.
Or you're like a salmon and you have a metabolism that's just burning, where they'll waste away if they don't eat.
Yep.
And
Dropping some
they're
knowledge there
hunt.
tonight. There you go. That's
Always.
Always. Yeah, always. So
That's what makes a salmon so powerful, even though they're an open water fish, is they hunt constantly. It's
Yeah.
all they do.
right.
Is
Okay.
they roam.
Now, where did you catch that fish at?
That was in the Chattahoochee River.
In the Chattahoochee.
Mhm.
We
Not going to give you guys location information because this is one thing. That fishery is so special that we really try not to show the location of where these fish were caught because it's how we have to protect them.
Okay.
Because there's not enough policing on the river, whether it's from law or other anglers, to really protect the fishery. So whenever we catch fish like that, if you look at my Instagram page, Phil Hutch 1980, you'll see that it's real kind of hard to see where the fish was caught. And I did that on purpose, honestly. I will freely talk about it. I try to hide the locations because
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Fishery. No, I mean, it's just
That's like when people kill a big buck, they don't know where it comes from.
I mean, if you kill a big buck and you tell people where you killed it, it's done at that point. But with a fish like that,
well, you let it go. It's still alive.
yeah. In fact, you can go to my if you go look up Philip Hutcheson YouTube, you can see the release video.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about this because I know this will get people talking.
The large.
Oh yeah,
That's it. We talked
He
about
can
this.
fill you in on that
Listen,
already.
We talked about this.
Oh, I missed
before.
it.
Yeah, we were up
He was
there
downstairs.
You
Yeah,
were downstairs.
Oh, he got lit.
So
son.
somebody,
did get a
I
little
believe it
video
was
about
Pork Taco, posted a picture from GeoWin that there was a new Chattahoochee record largemouth recently caught, 6 pounds 12 ounces. And so what I did was before we came down here is I asked Blake and Phil were up there and I said, hey, did you see this? And let's just say we've got some strong opinions.
Lie detector termin or what is it?
I don't know.
I mean, it's
he just this is not. This
it's
is
just
not.
strong opinions.
So let's talk about this because it was pretty interesting what you said. Go
Well,
ahead and tell
there's-
everybody.
You know and that's a hell of a fish that the gentleman caught. I mean,
Yes.
the 614 is no slouch, especially out of that body of water. But there are other bigger bass that have been caught out of there, out of the hooch. There have been Maine River bass over 7 pounds that have been caught up in the trout. I mean, in the trout section where you
Right.
should be catching big trout. There are big bass that have been caught,
And you've seen these fish.
I've seen these fish
You've
caught.
seen the pictures.
I've seen the pictures. I saw them I had them FaceTimed right when they were caught,
right,
and when they were weighed. So
they're farther along than this one right here. They weigh more.
They weigh more. So
why did those people not come forward?
I don't know. I think they just didn't take the time to, or it wasn't tracked at that point in time when they caught the fish.
Gotcha.
So
this will be the record, but that you have seen bigger fish already caught than that. And I thought it was pretty interesting. He was like,
yeah,
how you want to say it? I'm not going to repeat what he said.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
It's horse baloney.
Probation.
There you go.
Horse
Only
baloney.
you probably didn't say baloney.
There he is.
He did not.
There's Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Right there. Yeah. Alex
Come be on the show, Alex.
He slammed a freaking 7-pound, 6-ounce largemouth mid-river and FaceTimed me when he caught it. So
he's got one over 7.
Yeah,
he's the man.
I've seen it. I watched it happen. So
okay. Was due to the pound test of the line. I'm not sure if you're asking if it was a line record.
No. I think it's just
not a line.
It's general. It's a general river record.
I was surprised to hear that they don't consider bull sluice to be its own impoundment.
I kind of was, but I wasn't.
I don't know why I didn't know that or hadn't heard of that. Maybe it's because I'm
so
not
hold on a second.
It,
Steve Pinkston got to be certified by GON. Okay, I get that, but I don't know who in the hell made GON the certification.
The state's the states who certifies it.
GON's a magazine.
Well, but a body of water is kind of arbitrary. The state doesn't want to chase that around.
And I know. I know that GON has a record thing for theirs. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, they're a magazine. They're a business, a for-profit business.
That's it.
So I know they do that. So unless, to me, the state of Georgia certifies it.
Yeah, you're right, Eric. Eric's right. There wasn't even a carp record that was certified until last year. And it's cool that people want to track this stuff, but it should be something that's handled by the state, not necessarily by a private business.
That's what I'm saying. It's private. It's like us.
Yeah. It's
that's
exactly
like saying Fish North Georgia would say, "Hey, that is a record in the state of Georgia." I mean,
whoever the Facebook user is, it's not. You can run gas there. It's just I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah.
And why is that?
It's because that impoundment hasn't been properly maintained. There's literally roving sand islands that pop up out of nowhere.
I'll go here.
What are y'all talking about?
Bull sluice is there used to be above Morgan Falls Dam. There used to be a proper reservoir, or at least what would have looked
deep.
Like a proper reservoir
on the river or the lake?
On the river,
above Morgan Falls.
I don't know what that is.
Okay,
well, I got you,
in
Steve.
Roswell.
It's the next dam down from Beaufort.
Okay.
And so it used to be a proper reservoir down there. Because they haven't kept up with it and kept it dredged out, there's been siltation and a lot of it's filled in. And so now you have your main river channel and a couple of kind of backwaters here and there, and that's about it.
Yeah, it used to be real proper bass water. I mean, you could catch shoal bass in there. I can remember fishing it in the 80s, and there was literally, it didn't matter where you went. If you went anywhere near a feeder creek, you were catching shoal bass and largemouth.
I would go ahead and say put in at Azalea and stay on your troller and go real slow and take your time. There's a lot of good water there.
Jesse?
You just have to be careful staying on your big motor. There's a lot of kayak traffic there anyway.
They also
SCPs
do rowing there as well. So just be mindful that it's very water level dependent. If you go when there's high water, you're going to have less likelihood to get into the sand and the silt that's all over the place.
I'll go ahead and say those super cool fishery. Like there are some places there where you would swear that you weren't in Metro Atlanta.
Yeah,
it's a really neat place to go.
Why don't they come through and suck the sands out?
They did a
Excellent
study.
Question.
They did a study. The Southern Company paid for a study. It's behind a paywall. I haven't paid for it to look at it yet to see what they said. But the big fear is
you got to pay to see it.
It's prohibitive costs, like $250 million with a B, $1 billion. To clean it up, and they're also worried about environmental aspects. But
they let it go away because they wasn't sucking it, so they caused the environmental problem to begin with. Correct?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, they're worried about now. Like I know this is a problem on the Toccoa, and a lot of rivers that end up with like tires and old cars and stuff in them. When stuff gets buried
habitat.
Ron, they don't come over the dam.
When things get buried up in that silt, at some point it becomes more injurious to the environment to actually take those things out
than does. Yeah.
You move, like if you move an old tire, you release all that chemical. Whereas if it gets silted in and just sits there, it's an eyesore and it sucks to see,
but it's there.
But at least that nasty shit is kind of locked
healthier
in.
for the environment. I believe their concerns are the lead aspects. That's the main concerns. No, Jerry, those are not from Buc-ee's. If you guys, by the way, I don't know if y'all know this or not. I know y'all are early morning bass fishermen at some point in time.
Right.
We are being graced by something that has been blessed upon this earth by none other than Texas itself. Y'all need to look up Buc-ee's gas stations, because we're having one built down by Macon, and it's going to be built up on Dalton by 75. But it's literally like you take a QT on steroids and put it together with a Walmart, and they have a baby.
They got cat head biscuits. Then I don't want it.
Man, they got a wall.
Oh, shut up! You don't eat gravy.
They got a wall.
But I ate a cat head biscuit. Hush your mouth.
They do have that. They have all sorts of fresh cooked food. They got a wall of jerky.
A wall of jerky.
That sounds like my redneck heaven. Now I know why you're in Texas.
There's a couple things that have been going on through the
chat.
Through the chat here. First of all, we're not eating pork rinds or nothing.
Yeah.
This is Wyowega cheese curds. These are straight exactly from Wisconsin.
These are good.
Okay, they're very good, and they would even be better if they were at room temperature.
Mm-hmm.
We sell them here at Fish North Georgia. They are a sponsor of the Electric Elite.
Man,
guys, if you've never had a real cheese curd, it's a different thing. First of all, they squeak when they're warm.
Yes, they do. When you bite into them,
them, a real cheese curd squeaks.
Or the fried ones, they do it too.
Fried, and you can take them things home and you can beer batter them.
Every one of y'all's old butts have cheese in your beard right
now. Do I have cheese in my beard right now?
You do. I ain't got that because I can't grow a beard. I'm a patchy. I'm a patchy beard.
So that's the first thing. So they're not cheese curds. We do sell them here at Fish North Georgia. They are a sponsor of the Electric Elite. There was a couple questions up, but we're going to jump down to Chef Matt. I would love to hear more about shoal bass in that area and good tactics to target them. Hey, why not?
Alex, come be on the show.
Phil,
go ahead.
Are you?
Hey, what are you doing?
No, this is a question talking about
shoal bass,
about any bass, trout, or anything.
Right.
You do guide work on the side, correct?
I do. That's correct.
I guide for trout or anything.
Currently only Instagram.
Okay.
It's Phil Hutch 1980.
Okay.
You guys can find me on there.
So you're kissing ass. Is what
I do. I'm getting them out there because I want to go. We've talked about going.
We've talked about going. Like I said last time, I do not guide on the Chattahoochee, which is the main fishery I'm on.
Yep.
You can't. You have to have a $1,500 a year permit.
Well, we're buddies.
The National Park Service. So I have no problem taking people out on the river.
Friend.
I want to show people the fishery so that they understand how special it is. Because just like we talked about, you can catch a 7-pound largemouth out of that river in trout water. The same place that I caught a damn near 14-pound brown trout.
Mm-hmm.
Spot burned.
I mean, no, not in the same pot, but they're in the same river, and that is possible on your float that you could catch fish like that.
Okay, sounds that I believe you.
You know, and
I'm not doubting you at all.
No, I know that. I mean, that's just the uniqueness of the fishery.
I'm approving people to the Fish North Georgia group page.
I hear you over there, Click.
That's it. So
Click.
I mean, so listen.
So Chef Matt was asking about shoal bass. Most of the stuff you're going to see, and Alex can chime in on this too. Most of the stuff you're going to see below Morgan Falls Dam is going to be actually a bunch of hybrids. Very, very little pure shoal bass genetics left because over the years, people have stocked spots in there. They've also stocked smallmouth in there. So there's just a hodgepodge of genetics when it comes to shoal bass down below Morgan Falls.
Lee Patterson, no, he doesn't. So you keep talking. I'm hitting there.
But yeah, Blake's missing out if you don't eat gravy.
Hey, answer that question.
Gravy
from Jonathan Farmer right there. Do you fish?
I do both.
Yeah, so he does both. A lot. Yeah, that's what's interesting.
The reason, the thing is what I've learned is been blessed with being able to travel and work in some really fishy places of this country.
So you're one of them guys that work about 3 or 4 hours, and then you're going fishing.
No. I'm gonna make sure my job's done. Then I'm gonna go put the time into fishing. But
sound like me now.
Yeah, I spent time in Montana for about 5 months and got to be around some of the most advanced and basically the godfather of articulated streamer fishing, and really listen to him on how his innovations and other people's innovations with regard to fly fishing came into being.
You lost me at articulated streamer fishing.
So that's basically if you took this jig,
let's go explain it to us, dummies.
and this jig, and you took them and linked them together with like wire or fishing line, you've now articulated it so it can move.
We call that broke back.
Okay, broke back. Yeah, jointed, broke back, same thing. But they do that with flies.
Articulated is a fancy way to put broke back.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I mean, that's good. I'm seriously. Yeah.
No, it's and what it's for, it just helps with the motion. It helps it to look more like a bait fish that's evading a predator or that's injured.
So articulate, it means
it helps you get more size too. It's like at some point, like a big fly, if you used this jig and it was just that profile, you add the articulation, you get more action for your profile. It's that bigger meal. And it still looks real.
Michael Temples, yes, we will be at the store tomorrow and Saturday. Okay, you can definitely come on by. And if you do come by, let me take this time. This would be a good time. Paul will say this will be a perfect time. If you're going to come by the store, Georgia Mountain Food Bank.
It is a perfect time.
It is a very perfect time. We, of course, are continuing our food drive. They came in. I want to say thank you. They picked up their second load just this afternoon.
How much have y'all raised so far?
Well, I don't know of a dollar amount, but I know the first load was 630 pounds.
That is awesome.
Wow. And so 630 pounds of canned goods. They came back tonight. Thurman and them, they can raise them. Rebecca Thurman and Eric Thurman on here. You'll see them in the comments. Rebecca works for the, I want to make sure I say that right, the Georgia Mountain Food Bank. And they came and picked up the second full can load tonight. So it's a barrel. I say a can, it's a barrel. And we're going to continue that. So if you come to the store here in the next day or two or anytime after that, I'm going to continue doing this. Bring me even if it's just one can, we'll put it in there. One can is as important as anything. And also too, Rebecca is going to kill me because she showed us how to do it. I'm going to send out a thing tomorrow that is kind of a monetary donation you can make if you don't want to do the canned food. $1 equals 5 meals. I know that much. And so I'm going to be sharing it. If you give $1, that you're providing 5 meals for a needy family or a person that needs it. So this is something that we're going to continue doing here at Fish North Georgia throughout the foreseeable future. It's important to me. I've never been hungry a day in my life. I can't imagine
what it's like to not have.
I can't imagine what it's not like to have food. So again, if you come by, please just bring me a can or two of something, and we're going to keep on doing this. So again, Michael, thank you for asking that. But yeah, we will be at the store tomorrow and Saturday.
And then I see we got another one.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Comfort Lawn Care. Do you fly fishing guide or both? I do fly fishing guide. I am going to. Like I said, I don't have a permit to guide on the Hooch, but I am working on figuring out guiding other places aside from where I'm at on the Soquel currently.
I've got an old man prostate. I'll go get you one.
I'm definitely open to doing that, but there's some other big plans that I've got in the works with some folks.
The fishing's only getting better right now, correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much. So the same time that. So I caught that 30-inch brown. A couple days later, a 24-inch brown was caught on the Chattahoochee. Last Sunday, a 32-inch brown was caught on the Toccoa.
I did see that was the one up around like a spillway looking area, right?
Yeah, that's right at a boat ramp.
Really?
Where that was, yeah.
That's gorgeous fish, man.
So it's huge fish. Well, the dude burned the spot when he kind of named where it was caught.
He also booked his service probably for the next 24 months.
Maybe, yeah.
We're going to get together. Next week, I got my little boy, but the week after, I really like to go. Even if it's for an afternoon, man. I just want to get out and learn. I mean, this is the second time I've met you and everything. We talk on Instagram, stuff like that. But the more that I'm seeing these fish and the more you're talking about how they fight and everything, plus the opportunity to catch a big largemouth, maybe a shoalie, like I've gotten invested in it.
Well, it's just like it was saying. Someone was asking, how diverse or is this a diverse fishery? I don't know. It was further down that Josh had up as far as the question goes. No, I think it was down towards the bottom.
I saw it there for a second.
There was something that someone mentioned about that. There it is. Is a hoot? No. The most diverse river that I've ever fished would actually be the Cumberland River up in Kentucky. That river was nuts. I think I caught a dozen different species of fish.
While I was trout fish or just?
I went up there originally to trout fish, but I caught brook trout, brown trout, rainbow trout. Mm-hmm. They stocked cutthroat trout in there. Didn't catch them. Caught largemouth, smallmouth, striped bass.
Wow.
Drum.
Hell with them drum there.
I mean,
he is wide open though.
Yeah, I mean that's just how it is up there.
All on conventional, like how you fish.
Yeah, this is all on conventional. I'd never gone there before, and I went with a buddy of mine he's a big conventional guy, and I'd always wanted to fish the fishery, but they had some dam issues about a decade ago, so that fishery's been in recovery ever since then.
And see, the part that's got me so interested, especially going out with you, is I can take.
Out with him?
Dude, we went on the best date, hot wings, beer, live music, did a little siesta. It was great.
Awesome.
Great.
Where was I?
You weren't invited.
I'm running the store.
In the bathroom.
Up here doing emails.
Exactly.
Yeah, with the front door locked.
That's it.
You guys hit 50. I can't wait.
But no, man, I want to get out so bad because you keep talking about how we can do this with conventional stuff. Like you're talking about the jerk baits and stuff. Dude,
I mean, jerkbaits, jigs, that's, the whole thing about how bass fishing transitions over into trout fishing.
Which was number one on the list.
It was.
That's what we're supposed to be talking about.
It's power fishing. That's what it is I didn't understand power fishing until Alex introduced it to me. And I've adapted that ago. 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Okay.
So I went from basically just being a average spin fisherman to working through flies and big gear to get to these big trout.
Okay.
And just like I was saying, all this stuff transitions over. Like I was saying, the PB largemouth I caught, that thing was caught on a size 4 silver blue fox spinner in May.
You talking about like a spinner you throw in a creek?
Yes. Yeah. Threw it up in a shadow.
Here I am, like,
threw it up in a shadow, and it snapped the rod I had. It snapped the freaking rod. It was on his. It was on
snapped the rod halfway. He's fighting.
Check this out. So I threw over. This was over in East Cobb at my grandparents' house, and the sun was kind of setting, so there was a shadow on the lake from these bushes that were all the way across the water. So I cast over there and let it sink down and then just started reeling it kind of slow. And all of a sudden I felt a whack and I was like, oh hell, what the heck? This is a big fish. And then all of a sudden it jumps and I'm like, oh crap, that's a big fish. So I'm sitting there trying to bring it in and all of a sudden the rod just folds over in half. And I'm like, oh crap. So I just started walking backwards and dragged the fish up on the bank. And my dad was working on the house. It was like 2 houses up. And I'm like, what the heck? So I just grab it and I run up. I'm like, Dad, he's 25 foot up on a freaking ladder on the side of a house. And I'm like, look at this. He's like, holy shit. So
fell off the ladder.
Well, he climbs down and we go weigh it and, let it go. But that was just, I've had weird things happen with my fishing to where, that's my PB for bass on a very unconventional lure. The fishery that the hooch is now, and with the way I've learned to power fish it both on fly and with gear,
not yet.
It totally requires a disciplined mind. You have got to understand what you're doing when you go in there, and it's just like Alex mentioned, it's an extremely technical fishery. If you can fish successfully on the Chattahoochee, you're probably going to be able to fish successfully in any other body of water, and that does cover bass
that people like to use as they talk about a technical fishery. What, in layman's terms, what is a technical fishery? What makes
technical fishery?
What makes one fishery more technical?
We do the kind of thing where you have specific flies that are designed for looks on the river. Like there's a modeled, there's a Chattahoochee sculpin that's protected and only found in the Chattahoochee River.
A what?
It's a sculpin. It's a fish, bait fish. But the coloring is called mottling, Mottling, and it's basically like the black and white bars you see on fish.
Mm-hmm.
But those are only found in the Chattahoochee River.
So those big browns are eating the piss out of them.
They do eat those. They eat other things too. But that's one thing, for example,
what? I'm learning. I'm trying to get knowledge. Listen, when I go catch a big brown trout and you're up there sending emails and we're out on the river catching biggins.
Hold on a sec. Listen, I'm just laughing at you. Facebook user that says fun show guys right there. If you will go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, put your name in there. We'd like to know who you are. Hey, we don't want to call you Facebook. We're going to ask you this question, and then we're going to take the time for the poetic reading.
What does delayed harvest mean?
So delayed harvest is basically where you have marginal trout water, which is the entire state of Georgia and most of the southeast because of our latitude and the elevation that we have. So, but what they do is they'll stock trout for 6 months out of the year in these delayed harvest streams, like Amicalola.
So you're talking about like the stockers just getting thrown in.
That's pretty much it. Okay. Yeah, I don't fish delayed harvest because they're not wild fish. I like wild fish.
So you don't fish stalker streams.
No,
so that's what it is.
That's pretty much what
you're saying. Pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
They're easy to fool fish. I mean, granted, you give them a week or two in that
catch
system
him easily.
Yeah,
take my 33 with a little bit of corn out there and float it
What's
down.
up, Paul?
Good to go. Yeah.
So Paul Gustafson, I guess I pronounced that right. Okay, so anyway, so Mac Doyle nailed it right here. Hold on a second.
Let me say that.
Blake, you need to learn how to get a partner. Anyway, so it's time for Blake to sing. So here's what we're going to do. So tonight's poetic reading is going to be a little bit different. In fact, that it's in a foreign language.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is going to be funny. So we're going to let Blake read this song. And apparently, listen.
You got the actual lyrics on another page?
No, I don't know what in the hell this thing says.
Oh, Lord.
So it could be something totally bad, but I don't know. But anyway, so I know the name of it. So you got to give the name. And now here, Paul, I need a clarification on this. So I've got the song by a person. Now read who the song's by. Is that who we need? Is that the artist that we need? I mean, you're smarter than I am.
I have no idea.
So here's
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, well, listen, I don't know. So what we're going to do is this, huh?
Just name the song.
Just name the song, Josh says.
Yeah, this is going to be really
This is going to be good. Make your hands up there for a second. I know you are, but I got to talk a little bit. You ain't like Bill Payne, just start reading and I can't catch up. So here's what you're going to get tonight. If you get this,
kill it like Bill Payne.
The first person to say the name of this song is going to get a couple packs of crypto bass worms. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to go crypto tonight. I got some crypto. I want to get those out in your hands. Eric Thurman, you cannot answer this, nor can your wife. You were here when we were trying to figure this out. And also, I'm going to send you a couple of these. What were those? Like,
hey, I'm not a fan of cheese, but that's good.
Yeah.
All right,
where the hell did that come from?
Listen, I'm not the kind of person that says, "No, I'm going to eat a block of cheese." I hate cheese unless it's like grilled cheese. I'd sit there and eat that whole bag. I ain't gonna lie.
Josh, can you make sure you cut that? I hate cheese unless it's a grilled cheese.
I'm just saying, like
I hate cheese unless it's a grilled cheese. What are you, 3?
No,
what do you
my son and nephew, they'll get the cheese sticks, sit there, eat the cheese sticks. I can't do that.
I hate cheese unless it's a grilled cheese. You're like 7 years old, man. I love you. All right. My little brother here. So anyway, here's what he's gonna do. So also, what were those things too? Those skirt things up there that I'm gonna give away too, that you can just boil and it goes around the thing.
The fish skirts. Yeah, guys, if you got like a bait that you don't like the color of, sand it down or whatever, and apparently you heat these up. Jig skins. Yeah.
There you go. So anyway, so the jig skins, Foster Dubrock with Chattahoochee Baits gave us a bunch of them. I'm gonna give some of those. So you're gonna get a few packs of crypto and these. So again,
I would be a good guy to make shirts out of. Just the stupid ass sayings that I say. I hate cheese unless it's a grilled cheese. Put that on the back of a shirt.
We should do
Josh
that.
is laughing. Josh is
Steven
like, I'll wear
Gutcher says,
that.
put that on the shirt.
That's
exactly
what I'm
right.
saying.
It's you get. I hate cheese on the front,
With a bag of these
and
up
then,
underneath it.
unless
Yeah.
it's a grilled
Yeah.
cheese on the
Are
back.
you lactose intolerant?
Me?
Yeah.
No. But hey, you know another thing I don't like? I don't drink milk unless it's with cereal.
Well, you don't drink it if it's with
I
cereal.
mean, what about chocolate milk?
I'll drink a Yoo-Hoo.
that? Ain't got
That
no
is-
milk in it.
that
I don't
ain't
think
milk.
that does.
Oh
have
my
milk.
God.
That's a chocolate milk. Man, is a Yoo-Hoo.
Yeah.
That's because you're from Marble Hill.
The chocolate
Shut up.
chemicals.
Why you gotta bring up where I'm from?
That's because you're from Marble Hill. There ain't no milk in that. All right. So anyway, again, here we go. All right. So all we need tonight, because this is going to be absolutely screwed up, is the name of the song. All right. So Blake's going to sing it. It is in a foreign language. I don't know what the words mean. I didn't even know this song existed until about an hour and a half ago.
Who told you? Was this something you come up with?
No, Josh.
Of course. Well, you got
Because
again,
listen,
Josh. You
the
back
brain.
Because
If-
listen, it was going to be some kind of punk rock song.
If he can't read it, I'll read it for him.
Oh no, he's
Can
going to
you
read
do it?
this. No.
I know the language.
Don't let him.
No,
don't
because
let
you
him
would
punk
do it
out
right.
now.
I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want you to do it because you would do it correctly.
Don't
So
let him
That's the
punk
whole
out.
thing, though. Is I'm wondering if anybody's going to be.
it doesn't matter. I hope it takes them all
Oh, this will be
freaking night.
great then.
So
Yes.
Josh
Hold on a
is
second. So here
is
we go.
back there
Hold on a
behind the
second. Hold
board,
on a
just
second.
going dance puppets dance.
here we go. Are you ready? Now you guys start right up there
where you circled?
where I circled.
That's usually the course.
No. Listen, ain't nobody gonna know what the hell this chorus is right here. So here we
okay.
go. I need the name of the song. First person gets some. What did I tell him I was gonna win?
Crypto worms,
Crypto worms and
some
them
And
fish
jig
skins.
skins. Jig skins.
Jig skin. All right, go.
Hey, Fonse, Doy. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
I understood those.
Hey, yeah. Drundreer Day, Daddy, go. Sir,
There it is.
They got it already.
There it is,
How the hell
Tatum.
did somebody get
hey,
that already?
thank you so much for typing this in.
Kilt it.
Thank you.
Well done.
Here,
That
since you, yeah, shut up, Danny.
That
Here, since you know
absolutely
Spanish,
You know what? Hold on
Spit
a
it out
second.
there.
Josh goes, you know what? Somebody's gonna guess this because it's the only Spanish song that means
hey,
anything.
how did you know what that was? Seriously,
JT
was you just
that
typing it in?
blows. That totally blows.
Hey,
Good
It's his
job,
wife's
JT.
favorite song.
Good job.
Say that again. Read it like it's supposed to be read. Sing it with a beat.
Oh, okay. So he's going. Si sabes que llevo un rato
I
mirando,
went nowhere.
tengo que bailar contigo hoy.
Holy shit!
Vi que tu mirada y estaba
Mirada!
llamando. Muéstrame el camino que yo voy.
El
I
Camino.
understood about
I know
four of those
El
words, yeah.
Camino. They're probably smoking pot in El Camino with the seat laid back.
See, I just threw Danny for a loop there.
I
Dude, holy shit!
by Lar, he wanted to dance with the girl
Yes.
at some point. Yeah.
All right, listen, what now? I don't. What? Okay, so translate.
Bieber did a remix of it, #1 song on YouTube.
Yep.
Way to go,
More than
Danny.
Baby
Right.
Shark.
You know what? That's what I get for letting Josh pick it.
Way to go, Josh.
I mean,
Is that one?
was
He's
a
like
good-
El Decito.
Yes. This is the
Everybody
one.
knows that. That was on the radio 2 years ago.
Well,
Just
sing it.
blared all
Well, sing
summer.
it.
I don't know it, but I,
It was
I remember
recently
it.
played in a very poor manner by our current elected official when he decided to come up to a stand
Really,
last
Really?
year during his campaign. Yeah.
Donato El
He
Cedito.
played Despacito, yeah.
Despacito.
Yeah. See, now you know it.
Something
Yeah.
Masacito.
Yeah.
Mato.
Anyways.
Something Mato.
Masacito.
something motto.
Something Mato.
something tomato. Is that what he said over there?
Listen, I'm sorry, I'm an old fort, but I got no idea who the heck this song is by. And, Josh picked it out. I'm like,
Josh.
I don't even know it.
Way to fail, man. We was
What the
like,
fuck?
very
I mean, you
good
did all
segment.
right.
I was
I've
gonna
never
do some
actually
Van Halen or
heard the
something.
entire
My
song.
goodness.
I'm just
That's
ready
the-
for some Pantera.
There
Good
you go.
Lord.
So
Walk.
you know what you just did?
What?
If next time I do a song, somebody's gonna say Pantera.
If they know Pantera, they'll know the lyrics. Yeah, but it ain't like you're gonna pick
Well, I
it.
mean, the next
Tuesday.
time you do it, you don't have to make
Yeah,
it
Danny.
Pantera.
Y'all all suck.
We need to get something back from like
I know it.
1800s.
I
like,
know it. I'm gonna tell Danny. I know what. He
All right,
needs to
we're
do.
losing Tatum, guys.
Okay.
We gotta
Yeah,
get
I
back
love
on
her.
it.
That's fine. So what now? What did I do?
No, I'll give you a song for next time.
Give me some of them hot fries.
You like them hot fries? Chester's hot fries. I need to get
Hey.
them as a sponsor.
Hey, them things
Yeah,
are
see,
good. right?
Daniel-
Biden played it for the Hispanic vote. Okie dokie. Well,
Despacito, something,
And he-
something, Mato.
but we're gonna stay.
Hey,
Well, listen,
Fish North Georgia does
That's
not
called-
drink.
Brian, that is called Spanglish.
Spanglish.
Yeah. I learned
Redneck,
about-
Aye,
redneck
Fonzie,
Spanish.
gee.
I learned
oh,
about that.
oh no, oh no, hey yeah, diddy, daddy, go.
Actually, if
Saturday Square, Lord.
So Fonzie, like, Happy Days?
Listen,
Luis Fonzi and Daddy Yankee and Justin
what we
Bieber.
need is some Spanish rap.
There we
music.
go. Like I was
That's
thinking,
who it
Daddy
is.
Yankee was the one.
If
that
we're
I
gonna do
was doing.
Spanish, get Phil on here every time. He can read it.
Spanish. You
I
can read
can't.
it.
I knew Daddy Yankee had another hit in him after Gasolina.
He
Who
did.
had another hit in it?
Daddy Yankee.
Who
Daddy
is Daddy
Yankee.
Yankee? I know we're really losing
He wasn't
people that
even
wanna talk
born when
about fishing,
Gasolina
but-
was a thing. Like,
Well,
Oh,
let's track back on there. Harry's right. If there's a Chattahoochee Royal Rumble, which fish are you betting on winning? Brown trout. 10
what
times
is the
out of 10.
hold on, say bring
Okay,
it back, bring
okay,
us back,
so-
bring us back. What are we talking
We're
about?
talking about the Royal Rumble. You know,
The Royal
30-man enter, 1 man wins. You know, but we're talking about
That's-
fishing.
so who's your first entrant then?
Of the Chattahoochee Royal Rumble?
I think the first entrant is the rainbow trout because that's the one that everybody thinks is going to win.
Oh,
Why would
it
a
just ends
rainbow
up on the
trout
bottom
win?
of the food chain.
So
though.
we would probably.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, he's a jobber, but I mean,
I like how you say that. He knows wrestling.
yeah.
So if you got down to it, though, it'd probably be up to the spot and the brown, right? Because the spot's so aggressive, going to be eating everything. And then you got the brown. He's just Mac
I
Daddy.
would
He
take
comes
the
in there
trout-
like the
I would
Big
take the
Show,
trout-
Undertaker.
The striped bass.
Striper or
Striped
brown
bass
trout
is going
are
to win,
gonna
or
be
the
the
flathead
king.
catfish.
I've always wondered this.
well, it depends on what part of the hooch then.
Yeah.
Oh, we're breaking
What
stuff
part of
down
hooch are we
now.
on?
Well, that's
I mean, if you're talking the entire watershed,
that's the whole thing. I can't remember who said that question, but that
Then I
that
just
would
whole
need
bag of cheese.
clarification. Again, talking about the Chattahoochee Royal Rumble. Well, the thing is, this is going back to what we talked about. It's a technical fishery.
I hear that
Which-
squeaking now.
There you go.
Which part are you talking about of the river,
Mm-hmm.
Harry?
Right below the dam.
If you're talking about
Coming out
which
Lanier.
dam? Okay,
Coming out Lanier. That's the only one I know of. Buford
Okay.
Dam.
That's
My
gonna be
God.
your brown trout for sure. You can find walleye up there
Really?
by the dam. Yes.
well, as a jobber too, though,
he is a jobber.
right over the top
I love how
rope.
you call him Jobber. He's running in, getting clotheslined right back out. Next man enter.
Dude, right
There's
into the
really
frying pan.
walleye coming right out right
Yeah.
there.
In fact, when they've had shad kill, they'll actually get sucked through because they go down and basically get either they'll suffocate from lack of oxygen. Is usually what it is in Lanier.
Now what? The walleye?
Yeah, the walleye if they get sucked through. Now smaller ones, because the shad when they have fish, the shad kill that come through, they do have fish that'll come through whole and end up just swimming around in the river. So there is 1,000% chance that a small walleye could get through there. People have asked if there's ever been striped bass or anything caught like that. Not to my knowledge. We have caught white bass, but I know that catfish and walleye have been caught at Buford Dam proper by the pedestrian bridge that they have there.
Really
Really?
Why wouldn't
that's
Striper be
awesome.
up there? I thought Striper
too
locked
big
up.
to get through the turbines, probably.
Yeah.
I got
But
you.
they
right
wouldn't
there.
send 'em up or
That's
nothing.
really what it comes out
Put that
to.
up.
Well, they can't get
Josh.
over Morgan Falls Dam.
Hey, what would y'all
Mm.
consider the power fishing techniques of trout? Now, it's totally
Streamer
on you.
fishing for flies and using crankbaits or jerk baits or anything like that. If you're going for
Huck
So-
the meat, brah.
yeah, it's because you got to think about it. Like they're hungry fish; they want to eat the biggest piece of protein they can.
You can catch brown trout on a crankbait.
Oh yeah.
So if you had to pick
Wow.
one crankbait to fish for brown trout, what would you pick?
Square bill.
That one I'm not going into.
Because they eat it good, right?
I got you. So he knows one. Okay.
No,
so
I
we
know
won't-
many. It's just that with
I think
the thing is, the key with it is, especially on a body of water like the Hooch, you can allow the bait monkey to get on your back. You know what the bait monkey is, right?
What's
Like
the
throw
bait
that
monkey?
bait all day.
No,
Explain
bait
the bait
monkey is
monkey.
the bait monkey is where this is my oh I got a new shiny toy. Oh look, I got another new shiny toy. Oh, these are new shiny. There's another shiny toy. It's so much bait. That's the bait monkey.
Okay.
You start just buying random things to try to get a pattern or figure something out. The more simple you keep it, the better off you're going to be.
I got you.
Especially in a fishery like the Hooch, like we were saying, it's a technical fishery because of how you have to approach these fish, how you have to figure out their feeding times,
Okay.
how you have to pattern the fish.
Right.
So you can get lost real easy with bait or with flies. If you keep it simple and just go basic pattern stuff, you're going to have success. It doesn't matter if you're chasing a 30-inch brown or if you're chasing something to take home for dinner.
Okay.
That's the key. Is just like you're saying, like you could throw a crankbait. Yeah, you could throw a crankbait. It doesn't matter if it's the size of this jig or if it's freaking a saltwater crankbait. Yes, I have seen people throwing saltwater stuff there.
They're from Atlanta. It's okay.
They're from somewhere. You want to say something to them, but at the same time, you kind of just
you like to sit there and laugh, just like when you watch people back down the boat ramp. And They get sideways. They get their wife out.
Qualified
Go
captain.
to the left. And he's Oh, yeah.
And then they undo the straps in the motor toter and try to
Yeah,
pull her in.
drag motor back up the boat.
If you don't know the qualified captain on Instagram, you really should.
The qualified captain.
Qualified
Good
captain.
meme page?
I will send you guys that.
Good
It's
meme page. Okay.
fantastic. Well, it's more about boats.
Okay. Let me
Go for it. What you got? Talk to me,
the
Goose.
last episode we talked about, you talked about how a lot of these big browns, they like to follow baits.
Yeah.
And you can't get them
Well-
to bite. Now, let me ask you, if say you've got a big brown, he follows you out of, I don't know, I guess they hang the rocks and stuff like that, like big rocks.
They're going to hang near structure.
If you go for a day, you have that fish follow 5 or 6 times, or however many times you throw at him, I wouldn't know. Do you think you could go back the next day and that fish would be sitting in the same spot, but you could change up a presentation to be able to catch that fish?
No, not on the hooch, because this
What
is
changes?
they're smart.
Okay.
And they're super pressure. It's not the fair word. Hyper pressure.
Mhm.
Hyper pressure.
The amount of pressure that's on that body on the river, all pretty much, especially now from when it starts warming up till Labor Day,
Mhm.
it's ridiculous. Like
I didn't know it even gets hit that hard.
they're from Abbott's Bridge to Medlock Bridge. That section, you pretty much don't want to be on it in the summer because of the amount of tubers
Okay.
that are on it.
Tubers.
I mean,
That's Rogers.
We're going
down
to-
there. Rogers.
well,
Abbott's
Rogers,
is
you're right. You're right.
ridiculous.
Excuse me. You're right. It's Rogers Bridge down
I
to
made that
Medlock.
mistake one day. Never again.
Yeah, it's great if you don't want to fish seriously and you want to enjoy the bikini hatch, but other than that, you're not. Yeah, you're
the
not.
bikini hatch.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard that one yet. Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
but I mean, those fish, they
You
live
want us to go
everywhere.
get you another bag
They-
up there? Son?
I'm
The-
not
the-
taking back home. That's good.
It's not a
I
bad
got a
idea.
UFC
Hey,
fight to watch Saturday night.
there you
I might
go.
Bring all that.
dude, there's your. You
Dude,
make
that's
freaking
good.
grilled cheese out of that, son.
Put that in that
son.
pan.
It
Melt
is-
it down.
Wyawega
Add some-
cheese is a great source of protein for those fishing tournaments on the weekend that want an alternative to nuts and
Look at
beef
this guy.
jerky.
Look at this
There you
guy.
go.
The
Unprompted.
plug. Hey,
Look at that.
Unprompted.
where's some of Steve's
Tilted.
nuts? We got any Steve's nuts around too?
I'm sure you know where they're at.
Steve's nuts are
You ain't
buddy
been
of
here for
mine
those.
caught a 7.
Ooh.
No, I heard
No,
about
that's a
it.
good question.
Good.
Okay, here, how about this question? What do you think
So
about
17-inch rainbow below Morgan Falls on a Strike King caffeine shad paddle tail
Can't
does
beat
not
them.
surprise me at
Can't
all.
beat them strike.
You know why? Because if you look at the recent Lake Lanier record for a rainbow trout, it was caught on
It was a fish head.
a fish head.
and a Kitech.
Yeah, and a Kitech, 3.5-inch white Kitech.
that? I know who's got the the Lake
And-
Lanier brown trout record.
Yeah, it's that little girl.
No,
No, that girl
That's a
caught
rainbow record.
a rainbow.
that's a rainbow
Okay, that was
record.
a rainbow.
Tim Wyatt.
But going back to
Electric
what
Elite,
JT
right?
or what he was saying,
still the little girl.
Yeah.
Still the little girl, Tim Wyatt. Tim Wyatt has the record
But
brown
can't-
trout on there. So go ahead.
going back to if you see this big brown,
Mhm.
you get him to follow. He doesn't bite that day.
so they're so pressured. I'll put it to you.
How
this
would
way.
you target that fish the next day? I guess
You couldn't target it the next
so.
day.
He could be 5 miles up the river, down the river.
Well, he's gonna. So one thing they found about browns is they don't usually stray from their homes.
Okay.
They
Okay.
will move feeding lanes when they need to feed, but generally they're homebodies. There are river wolves that will roam the river, but those fish are usually very rare.
So if he makes his home his big boulder, he's going to stay around that big boulder.
he's going to stick
It'll-
around that
okay.
big boulder.
It'll be probably a bigger area than that.
It's a bit, yeah,
but-
exactly. It's a
Oh,
bigger
okay.
area than you think, but it's
But it's
gonna
not
be-
like a buck deer running 5 miles. You know, hey, I'm going to go
No,
eat
no.
here
Well,
one
I
day
think
and go
it's
eat.
relative.
It's
though, like,
exactly.
okay.
It's
that
more relative.
that buck might still have, even though his territory is big.
He's still got a home range that he's going to come to.
There you go.
So 100 yards up the river, down the river,
Could be.
maybe?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean,
but he's not going to be. You found that rock. He chased. He's not going to necessarily be there the next day on that same rock.
correct.
Okay.
He
But-
ain't going to be out.
So
feeding
what
at
would
the
you-
same time?
What would you do if say you had a 30-incher?
So
What would you do to target that fish? Say the next time, next
key?
week. Or
This
what?
is why I didn't talk about the lures or flies that I use as
Don't
much.
you ain't got to talk
It's
about that.
more about the strategy of what you got to do is you got to realize, like I said, this is like fishing for muskie, for big trout in the hooch.
To me, it's like hunting a big buck.
Yes,
is what it sounds like.
it's also hunting a big buck. You
Yeah.
are not fishing, you are hunting. And what you have to do is just like with big buck, you got to have the right conditions. You have to set yourself up to be out in the right conditions. And just like with the big buck, the only way you can do that, you got to put boots on the ground, you got to put hours in the boat.
Okay.
And that's really like that 30-inch fish. That same day, when I launched, there was another boat that was at the ramp, and I was talking to the gentlemen that were in the boat. And as soon as I launched, I heard this splashing sound on the surface, and I was like, "That's either a big ass fish or an otter chasing some bait down the river." And sure enough, it was a big fish that was chasing a shad that was stunned and swimming on its side, and he wouldn't eat it, but he just kept nosing after it and messing with it.
Yeah.
And I cut my motor off and chased after him, but he was so dead set on that shad that he wasn't interested in anything that I was throwing at him. Flies, lures, anything.
So just like a big buck gets keyed in on one doe.
Just keyed in.
Okay.
There's nothing you could do.
We got a lot of good questions coming in here right now.
Give us one of Farmer's questions. We have not answered a single farmer question yet, and he's asked about 3 good ones.
Let's do this one first, real quick. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go with Chris Nation first. Power fishing for big trout, like throwing big swim baits for bass. Yes. The difference is the man hours equation that you're dealing with there, Chris. You can, just like you're saying, you can fish several days without a bite, but when you get a bite, you know it's going to be worth the work. That 30-incher, the last time I'd caught a fish over 2 foot out of the hooch was January of 2019.
Okay.
So I caught a 24 last year out in Arkansas, but it had been since 2019 in January since I had caught a big brown trout out of the river.
Right. Jonathan Farmer's next question out there. Do you find that browns will hang in the faster water versus your eddies or the holes?
Well, again, are you talking Chattahoochee or are you talking?
Let's talk Chattahoochee.
free stuff?
Let's talk
okay, so
Chattahoochee.
if you're talking,
Because you're the, what did we call him at the beginning of the show? The hooster. Hoochster.
The Hutcheson.
The
The Hutcheson.
The Hutcheson.
The
whatever.
Hutcheson.
You're the
Yeah.
Hutcheson. And when he needs a shirt that says, I'm the Hutcheson.
The Hutcheson. All right. So Chattahoochee. Let's talk Chattahoochee.
okay, so the faster it's going to depend on the time of year, the CFS that you're dealing with.
Cubic feet per second.
Yep.
Yep.
There's you knowing something.
There's all
I did
sorts
heat
of
in there.
stuff that's
I
going to
got you.
change it. Generally, the way that the fish will stack up is these fish want to spend as little energy as they can to feed. So the bigger fish, they're typically going to be back at the end of a hole unless they're feeding,
Okay.
because that's where the current's going to be the slowest. There will be big fish in other areas, but typically that's where you see them.
Yeah.
It just depends, like going back to Jonathan's specific thing, eddies or holes. It's going to depend.
It depends on their mood.
It really does. Like,
yeah.
I like women.
It's like if you want to eat, you don't go to the bedroom.
Yeah.
If you want to sleep, you don't go to the kitchen.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
they have feeding lanes. They have
hit that Chef
ambush
Matt
points.
question right there, Josh.
what you got.
What do they don't hit? What do they not eat?
Jigs, spinnerbaits.
They love jigs because
No, you're talking like
We're
a
talking
bass jig, like
trophy.
he's holding.
I've
it.
seen
Are we
literally.
talking trophy browns and stuff like that?
I have
right now?
seen people catch brown trout up to 20 inches on jigs just like this.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Typically, you're seeing people use marabou jigs that are smaller. They look similar
What
to
they
a crappy
use for
jig.
smallmouth stuff like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly what you're
smallmouth,
talking about.
yeah.
Yep.
There's a company out of Arkansas called Zig Jigs that
Yep.
makes them. Yes, and I mean they crush for bass and
Hey,
for trout. I have used
spotted
them.
bass really like them on Lanier
Yes,
too.
they do.
Hush,
Yes.
hush.
Uh-huh.
Fish North Georgia information.
I was about to
throw a hair
say-
jig on Lanier.
That's actually how I figured out
Dude.
that they love the
Hey,
jig.
I'll say one more. Take them around a dock.
Yep.
Respawn.
Pre-spawn
Dude,
also
it's so fun.
There
Light
you go.
tackle.
light tackle or with a light. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Like
There you go.
they're
Good stuff. Good
amazing in
stuff.
there.
I'm
Jigs and spinner baits. What are you talking, like a bass spinner bait? Or
Yeah,
are you
let's
talking
say
like a
like-
Colorado
Yeah,
Like
I'm
blade
sure
or
regular
it's
something?
Colorado
Yeah.
blade spinner
I've
bait, stuff
seen
like that.
people catch. In fact, I saw a guy catch like a 22-inch rainbow. He was slow rolling a spinner bait for bass up around Rome somewhere, and he caught a freaking big old rainbow on it.
The hooch runs around Rome?
No, this is not on the hooch. This was
on
I think the
Etowah.
Coosa or the Etowah.
Well,
Yeah,
it becomes the
Okay.
Coosa in Rome when the Etowah combines
there-
with the Austin Yolo.
There's
or
not
whatever
browns
it
up there, is there?
No, this
No.
is they were
No.
thinking that this is somebody's striper bait
Yeah.
that had gotten loose and just
Right.
I
Once
got
you get up to
Made it.
Rome, you're pretty much striper,
Yeah.
Striper,
flathead,
hybrid,
those kind
exactly.
of. Yeah,
It's warmer water
it's warm
fish.
water.
So you wouldn't see them eat stuff like that. I have watched videos of trout in other countries,
Mhm.
and they will literally come up and smack the hell out of whopper ploppers. I'm not kidding you.
Dude,
Europe, they'll use them in
there's
Europe.
some old in-fisherman video of them on some like Highland Lake in Colorado catching giant lake trout on like super spooks.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
like
Okay,
4
all
or 5
absolutely.
feet of water. It's stunning
That'd be
footage.
I love
amazing.
that question.
Yeah.
Obviously, besides the beer and cheese, what are you packing on the river?
Copenhagen.
That would be a Blake. That's a Blake thing.
That's a
there.
Blake thing.
I mean, are you talking? What are you talking?
Sandwiches.
Food?
I guess. What are you taking on a trip? What do you have?
It just
with you?
depends on how long a float. If I'm doing an afternoon, evening float, I'm just going to probably bring some snacks, a little bit of water, and a couple of rods.
Yeah.
I try to keep it
You're
simple.
not doing a lot there. Then
No, I'm very focused in
Less
on.
is,
scroll down,
less is
Josh,
more.
for me, buddy, if you don't mind.
I've
the more toys you try to bring, kind of the more you muddy the
What's
waters.
up, Casey Blanton?
Yeah, like
That's a
Eric's
good one
saying
right
right there. I knew a lot of trout fishermen around Boone that
Mhm.
get so technical on their flies that it had to be a certain type of bug for certain areas, certain times. And that's exactly right, because bugs hatch. So this is one,
Mayfly hatch is probably pretty good, right?
mayfly hatches are
Yeah.
one of the big things. So trout feed on different bugs in different parts of the year because those bugs are hatching.
Yep.
Right.
So right now there's a bug called a stonefly that's hatching from December through about June. And there's a fly that you can use called a Pat's rubber leg or a jig that you could use to simulate them because they look very
Pat's
similar.
rubber leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I want to ask this question before we get anywhere
Go
else.
ahead.
And
Go ahead. Absolutely. Go ahead and ask the questions.
I know how serious you are about the fishery.
Mhm.
It seems like you're kind of like us bass guys. You want to be able to protect the fish, protect the fishery, and everything. What is your main advice? Say I go out and I get lucky and I don't know what I'm doing, but somehow I end up catching a big brown.
Keep it in the water.
What is the best way to handle that fish, get my pictures, get my measurements, and release that fish knowing that somebody else can release it? Like I said, I can tell by the way you talk and everything, you're kind of like everybody. You want to protect the fish, you want to protect the where it's coming from. How would you go about the best way to keep that fish healthy, that it can keep living, get bigger, release, and get caught again?
Yeah, this is a big point of contention after the first brown that I got was caught because it had a split jaw from being on a stringer.
Right.
So I had some people say some pretty nasty stuff about that particular fish. And so
That's
since
the one that you brought in, correct?
that's the one I brought
Okay.
in, yes, on the first time. And so since then, I basically started taking videos of or pictures of the releases of when I'd catch fish. And it's evolved now to where I take underwater release videos because that just looks cool as hell. I don't
Okay.
care what anybody says.
Yeah.
That looks so awesome. But I basically looked at it like, okay, I want to be able to show that I am taking care of these fish when I release them. How can I do that? So I got a huge net because it doesn't matter how big or small the fish is. I'd rather get it in the net because it's going to be controlled at that point. Then you can unhook it. You can leave the net in the water and you still have the ability to take the fish up and get photos. But you got to remember, specifically with trout or striper even, these fish are used to water that's anywhere from 47 to maybe 60 degrees. You take them out on a sunny, hot Georgia July afternoon when it's 95 degrees, that's going to stress and shock the hell out of their body. So you want to try to keep them in the water as much as possible and minimize that air exposure. But especially a big fish too. The other thing is keep your hands out of its gills. I mean, you're going to kill a fish if you get your hand in its gills, but keep them in the net and make sure that they are basically about fighting you when they're ready to swim off, because that's going to let you know that they have revived enough to where
Hey, can we say hey to Takuma? I don't know what language he's in. I'm gonna assume that's Japanese.
Hey, Takuma.
Takuma, how you doing? Yes, we're talking.
Konnichiwa.
fishing, buddy.
Konnichiwa.
What is that? Konnichiwa.
That's hello in Japanese.
Konnichiwa, buddy.
The beef is over.
Hey,
The beef is
Konnichiwa.
over.
The swim bait kings.
What's that?
Japan. They're the ones who make all the high dollar swim baits.
They do.
and
They make some
jack them.
really crazy
That's right.
stuff.
We got Bait Sanity in the shop right now.
Yep.
Just let
So,
you guys know.
Say that you're
Getting so
wading
smooth.
or you're
I'm
walking.
getting good at this.
If I were to catch a big brown, I'd probably want to take it out into the river where the current's flowing in my net. That way there's constant water running across the gills, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be high oxygen environment because just like say if we all went outside and just decided to run, until we got a cramp, that's basically what these fish are doing when they're fighting us.
But the browns are a little more hardy than your average stalker, right? Like
Oh,
I know a lot
They're-
of stalkers, you unhook them 9 times out of 10, they're
They're
dead.
dead, yeah. And they're designed, sadly to say it that way, they're kind of designed that way.
Okay. But your browns,
But the browns they're wild. In
Okay.
fact, this is how crazy and wild the fishery is. So this past Sunday when I fished it, I was up by the dam and catching fish, and they were dropping eggs and milk in the boat.
Milt, what's milt?
That's the male.
Semen.
Yeah.
Semen. Okay. You didn't know that either, Danny. You didn't know it
Danny's
either.
turning red as
No,
hell.
you did
Listen,
not.
we're not gonna have a
You
birds and
lie.
the bees
Yeah.
section right here for you, Blake.
Explain how it works.
Like,
Thank you. I was about to say you
listen,
got to get.
what?
Blake's
Oh my
face.
God, what's that? I mean, you know what it is.
I did not. I don't know what fish
Oh,
sperm is
there
called.
goes Josh's ear.
Oh,
Now he knows.
my
Now
God.
I know.
Milk.
No,
Okay, milk.
milk with a T.
Milt.
Milt.
M-I-L-T.
Not milk.
Right, with a
milk.
T.
Yeah.
With a T.
We'll bring you a big jar of that.
Listen, I would at least know what it is. I would at least know what
I mean,
it is
you'll
that-
eat about
I
anything
would
nowadays. So.
Damn, this is true.
Yeah, you
Hey,
seen
I
it. didn't
saw
you?
that.
Listen, don't just because you're weak.
He
Don't-
liked that
don't-
pate.
Don't
I think in French it's pate.
Pat, just wait till we get that that Swedish fish, that
Oh,
fermented
oh,
fish
God.
on here, buddy.
That's gross.
That's
Oh,
right. We're gonna eat some
hey.
fermented fish, and I'm gonna watch you
have
puke.
a fan.
You
go.
know about this show? We laugh and cut up, give each other hell, but we get out some good knowledge too.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's
We
what
do
we're
our
trying to
best
do.
we
He's
can.
he's throwing out knowledge. all
He is.
night.
You and I ain't doing too much.
I'm asking questions. You're just listening.
Just drink your
Milt.
milk. Drink your milk and listen. So
They put
I-
that in Red
So
Bulls.
yeah, oh, God.
that taurine,
Gives you
yeah, there we
wings.
go. That's what gives you wings right there. Come on, scroll down here a little bit there.
So
Josh, where we
Mike
at from
Smith, I
Takuma?
usually have
Oh, right
at least one fly rod and 4 to 5 other rods rocking. But I've been kind of going minimalistic with it, so I'll usually just have 2 or 3 rods with me.
Do you do that Tenkara or whatever that is stuff?
Cane pole.
Huh?
Cane pole fishing. No,
Cane pole.
That's
No.
basically what it
It's
is.
cane
Is it
pole
not?
fishing.
It's cane pole
it's
fishing.
it's glorified cane pole fishing.
Okay, I just wondered. I saw
So-
that one time. I was like,
There
hell,
are
I've
people
done that
that
on the
love.
creek.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I did it when I was growing up. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
If people get into it and they have. That's hilarious.
MILF. No, it's not MILF. It's milk. Would
Mommy
you see two
fish and
fish
a
like
daddy
each other very
fish.
much?
That's how you get baby sharks. Do.
Listen,
Do.
But that do. Oh my God, I don't hear that song. But in all seriousness, that whatever it is, that Tenkara stuff like that, I watch some guys do that. I'm like, hell, we did that when I was like 6.
Mhm.
And you could buy a cane pole, and that's exactly what you were doing. But it's, if any of you guys
Well,
out there
I'm
do it,
not
I'm
gonna
not
lie,
trying to
like,
knock it. I'm just saying.
I saw a dude coming up Bowman Shoals wading one day on the hooch, and he was like a friggin' vacuum cleaner with that deal.
Yeah, you
Just
can.
nailing
You can. You,
yeah,
and
he
I,
was
I probably
railing.
know exactly who
Whoa,
it
whoa,
was.
whoa!
Yeah.
Do what?
He had one fly on.
You know
I'm
what we're
sure.
talking about? That
Maybe it was just
Tenkara or
crushing
whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a really effective because here's the thing:
Is it fly fin?
trout.
No, it ain't. It's cane pole.
It's a glorified Japanese method of fishing. Tenkara is like literally. If you see videos of these guys, they're literally doing this motion. They literally are putting something in the water. They're catching a fish, flinging it over their shoulder.
Saying them deep sea fishing on them boats.
Yes,
just
that's
catching
exactly
them
what it is.
tunas and
That
stuff.
is exactly
They
what
ain't
it
catching
is.
no tuna.
Dude, it looks like a tuna.
It's shit. What
It
is
might
it?
be.
Ain't
It
no
might
tuna.
be
It's
bonita
not
or something
tuna.
like that.
You don't know.
It ain't no tuna. Tuna.
It's a big tuna.
Nobody's jerking a tuna over their shoulder with a cane pole.
Listen to Josh. Listen to Josh. I wish we had a microphone on him just to get some of his reactions. Because it's so.
but that's what's happening. You're acting like you're jerking tuna. I mean, come on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't
Bonita, listen.
I don't
Tinkara,
do the
yes.
Tinkara, no.
Okay, sorry. Listen, Small River. Listen,
Y'all
Takuma again.
The beef's back
Hold on
on.
a second.
Y'all
Hold on
seen
a
that
second.
video? It's a
Hold on a
tuna.
second.
It's a
Anything said
tuna.
on this program
Takuma, he knows Tinkara.
again,
so
it's
it's
not the express views of Fishing
small
Georgia or
river.
its affiliates.
So the thing with the Tinkara, it's an effective way to fish, just like Paul was saying. There are people that clean up on it. It's not my chosen discipline. That's the whole thing. Do I have a problem with it? No, it's just not what I would do. And Cooper, you're probably right. Yeah, I'm thinking bonita is what they were catching.
Way to gather it back up there.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. So he's bringing the class back into
Got
it.
to bring it back. But
Reel it in.
Reel it in, buddy. There you go. Hey, can I ask
I
a
need to
question,
pull up my
Takuma?
list.
Where are you from? Just out of curiosity, I'm just asking where you're tuning in from tonight, if you don't mind. I'd love to really know. I think that's pretty cool.
I think so too.
He might be in
Trout,
downtown Atlanta.
Tinkara
That's not going to be
fishing,
near
okay.
as cool. But if you're from somewhere else, that would be really cool.
What?
I'm gonna bring up the list.
Oh, he's got the he's got the list up.
What to expect from season to season in Georgia with bass and trout and the hooch?
Well, you're a
So
buzzkill.
this is actually
this is a good question.
no, that's a great
That's a
question.
great
That's why I put it up.
Buzzkill.
Shut up, Danny.
Because, like we were saying, what a lot of people don't think about
Shut
with,
him up and go rapid
with
fire.
You
trout
told us Japan.
is
Oh, all right, man.
yeah, he's got to be in Japan
Some
somewhere.
rapid questions.
Heck yeah.
The thing about trout is 80% of the time, or 80% of the fish they're reactive feeding. They're waiting on the food to come to them.
And
That's
year
why
round.
that's
Okay.
that's why with fly fishing you have little dry flies or little nymphs or little emergers that they use at different times in different streams because it's specific to that bug that they want to eat at that time of year.
Well, let's ask this, dive a little deeper. A lot of bass guys struggle during the wintertime.
Yeah.
You think they're feeding better on the river?
I think that they can because think about it this way: what's the temperature of the river most of the year?
Tailwater's
Cold.
55 all year.
It's
Really?
colder than that, but yeah, that's a good average number.
That's still warmer
What-
than some of the lakes we're fishing, though.
But what about the creeks and the rivers that flow in to the river? Are they as cold or colder?
Probably colder, correct?
Maybe.
Hold on a second.
So-
Japan. Hold on a second. I just want to take
Yeah,
just
Takuma's
take
from Japan.
1 second. Takuma. How
Make
you
fishing
doing, buddy?
tool, Shimano, Daiwa.
Yeah. I don't know what you just said right there, but anyway, if you're from Japan,
Thanks for
that's
tuning
awesome
in,
that you're
Takuma.
tuning in. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you
Seriously.
so much.
I hope you tune every Tuesday and Thursday night.
And share with your friends. Get
Share
them
with
all.
your friends. That's right.
Yep.
We love everybody.
We love swim
Um,
baits.
So like Daniel's saying, when do we use dry flies for flies? That's-
time.
It's going back to what we were
Dries
just
or
talking
wets.
about with the different hatches of bugs because trout feed on everything, whereas largemouth, they've got a more specific diet, I
Mhm.
guess you could say.
I don't know. They're kind of opportunists. They're both
They're
very
opportunistic for sure, but bass definitely won't
They-
forage as much on.
They definitely grow out of invertebrates. pretty
Yes,
quick.
that's exactly.
Like-
I was about to say you won't see them foraging on invertebrates as much. We haven't seen Jeremiah tonight.
But
at all. Oh, that's right. He's
He
fishing.
just posted a second ago.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
So
But I think though that they're both very opportunistic. It's funny that big trout will still, when they're in their lane, they'll still try on small bugs
They'll
a
eat.
lot of times,
They will, but
just
but
kind of out of impulse.
it's not necessarily out of impulse. What it is they just have to constantly have food
Yeah.
in their body.
and
So
that's the trout.
that's the trout. Now, what they have found, they've done studies on the Chattahoochee to where there's a point where these fish will get to. I don't know what that point is, but it gets to a point where those fish will basically exclusively only eat other fish.
I remember you talking about this last episode.
They
Chad.
literally have found, and the DNR has done shock studies where they have pumped these fish's stomach and there's nothing in there but baby rainbow trout or small stocked rainbows.
Wow.
There's no bugs. There's no midges.
And I imagine they're getting pretty big once they switch over to that.
They have to. Well, they have to because it's like we were saying. Fish, it doesn't matter what it is. They're going to be lazy. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-pound bass or 10-pound trout. They're going to figure out how they can be super lazy and still have a good meal. So
I wonder how they're.
What? Tracy Coker.
Yes,
Tracy
Jonathan.
Coker. Y'all need to get Danny some Depends. Listen,
Farmer, I love a
Tracy,
dry
I
dropper.
opened that
I think
thing
it's fun
way
as
up.
anything.
way too early tonight, buddy.
yeah, dry dropper is pretty common. You can use a indicator, which is just a glorified word for a bobber. Bobber or indicator fishing is quite common to use on the hooch. You could go out there and do that and catch browns and rainbows all day.
Yeah.
Because you're basically
probably
just
floating like a cricket or something, correct?
No, you're floating a fly that looks like a midge or something
but
like
you're
that.
still using artificial.
Yeah, it's still technically a fly.
Going back to when they switch over to when they're eating the smaller rainbows and stuff. Do you think they're kind of like a spot, like they'll kind of run up and hit it to stun it, or how do you think they go about eating it?
So you can tell that by how they're attacking the fly or the lure. If
Really?
they're hitting, because if they're hitting the head, it's kill shot. They're going to eat it in one bite, or they're gonna kill it so that they can swim back around and then swallow it.
So they can be like a spotted bass, they'll run up, try to stun it, and then turn around and come back. And eat it. Okay.
Yep, they'll do that.
Interesting.
Then some days you'll get the tail grabbers, where they come up and they're just like, I'm gonna nip at that. Nip right at the tail.
Would you put a
trailer hook or a stinger hook behind it? You could.
Or would you switch over to like a trailer hook with a? I know a lot of time when we're fishing swim baits, we'll take that back trailer hook off, or not trailer hook, but we'll take that back treble, and we'll put one on there. It's got some feathers on the back. Would you do the same thing?
It depends on, because what you're using, it can affect the motion a lot. Like there's certain, just like when Jeremiah was on here and he was talking about there's certain swim baits or glide baits that you want to use feathers with and certain ones you don't. Yeah. It's the same thing with
a lot of times to me, like a tentative bite or like a tail grabber tells me that it's time to like fiddle with color a little bit.
Yeah, you're getting
thing on the bass side.
Well, you can get technical with it like that, but usually if you're having tail grabs like that, you're gonna have tail grabs all day. And that
See, I find like I don't go far, but usually if you have like a variation on a theme, go from like flash to matte, like, you can get a little more commitment out of them.
I've tried, and usually for me, what I've noticed is it's more dependent with these fish on barometric pressure than a lot of people realize. It's crazy. Like that
can be moody for sure.
They can be very like. I can definitely think of days where I'll have hundreds of fish chasing, and they won't open their mouth at all because it's high pressure. I can't remember who it was. I heard someone talking, and they basically were talking about how when you have high pressure coming over fish, it's basically like putting a weight on their head,
right,
to where they don't want to open their mouth.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Oh, that's a good idea. I do want to do that.
You do want to do rapid fire?
Last 10 minutes.
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is fun.
It don't hurt my feelings if we go.
Well, I was thinking for the seasons on the hooch, just to roll him through the seasons on the hooch the way you did with Bill.
Okay, yeah, so let's do that. I'll do that just like we did with Bill Payne.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so I'm going to give you, we're going to talk Chattahoochee, and I'm going to give you the season, and you got to pop what you'd fish with real quick.
Well,
now it's kind of why not?
No, it
First
won't.
rule of trout club.
It doesn't work that way on the hooch, because the way I fish that way 365. If you were wanting to go that way seasonal, you need to go more with the freestone, because
what the hell's freestone?
Freestone doesn't have a dam. That's like
okay, freestone.
Freestone, say the Chattooga, because that's one of the closest, best freestones you can fish.
Okay, freestone. So early spring.
Early spring, there's going to be a lot of bugs that are going to be starting to come out, like your March browns. You're going to have stoneflies coming out, but you're also going to have more flow, more CFS, and more water in there. That causes some of the bigger fish to be more active, I found. So, yeah, those work great. Those bugs that I just mentioned work great, but also streamers are really, really good.
When did trout spawn?
It depends. If you're talking trout spawn for browns in the Chattahoochee, we think there's probably two spawning cycles.
How would you go about catching a spawning fish? It ain't like catching a bass.
You don't.
Oh, you don't?
They don't go in bed like a bass?
They do. They have a red, and it'll usually be a gravel. Yeah, they look for hard bottom. Yeah, very similar to bass. They got to be able to lay their eggs to where they're not going to be disturbed for a couple weeks, so that they can go through the full cycle.
So they're not. They don't have to tumble down the river and stuff like striper.
No, not like striper. No, they need to stay somewhere where they're not going to get covered in silt and highly oxygenated.
It's kind of, I don't know. That's considered pretty poor form.
To
like
fish,
trying to fish for spawning trout is
so bed fishing,
no.
Bed fishing for bass, that's totally okay. We know it's not a big deal. If you're red fishing for trout, it's really bad etiquette, but because typically what it'll do is it will kill those fish's spawn. They won't spawn at all.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can't do that.
And the browns are natural spawners, correct?
They normally spawn fall time here, but like I was saying, on the hooch, because of the turnover cycle we have, pretty sure that they're spawning right before the beginning of the turnover cycle in like September, August, and then right now with I think this past full moon.
Well, I mean that's a good thing for the browns, right? Because it's putting more in the river.
It's putting more in the river because they're not being stocked, obviously. But you do catch rainbow trout that'll hold over sometimes.
Okay.
But that's not as typical. But moving on to what next, Danny, summer.
Yeah.
Especially down here, we have such a huge bug diversity that you can actually fish a lot of these trout streams with all sorts of stuff. You could go with small rapalas. Those Mepps spinners are really good. Panther Martins are good. I just personally like the little rapalas because I've seen how
like a brokeback minnow rapala.
Yeah, they'd work great.
I know there's a big thing happening this year.
Oh, the cicadas.
Will that play a factor?
So I keep hearing about the cicadas, and I call BS on it every year. And the reason it's such a cool sound, and they're out every year, but a lot of people don't think about that. These hatches that we're supposed to have of cicadas. Okay, so those were put in the ground 17 years ago. Okay, so the past 16 years, we've had how many houses built and how much pesticides put all over the ground everywhere.
Sure.
So I think that the hatches that people are expecting for these cicadas haven't happened the way that they expect them to because they're not factoring in that.
But you still got
human impact.
Very good point.
You still got the South Georgia areas that haven't been impacted as much as the Metro Atlanta. You got our area up here.
Yep.
I'll tell you what. It's off subject, dude. I love getting up in the morning, turkey hunting, hear a turkey gobbling on limb, hear them cicadas in the background.
It's good sound.
It is a pretty cool sound. Tacoma, again, not sure what you're going for, buddy, right there.
North Ellie Lake.
You know Ellie Lake?
I don't know. I don't know what Ellie Lake is. If you can, Tacoma, tell me a little bit more about what location you're talking about. I'll totally try to figure out where you're going with it.
5 Bike Lake.
Pyramid, get your ladder.
Steve Pinkston, if you can type vocabulary, you can catch trout.
Oh, Steve, yes.
I can't wait to go out, dude.
I mean, it ain't. Yeah. It's not rocket science, but like I said, it's technical and it's a grind.
Yeah.
If you want to catch a big brown, thank you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I want to try.
Yeah. If you guys, there you go.
Get that.
A lady never asks and a gentleman never tells.
Oh,
some gentlemen
my
tell.
goodness.
This table gentleman probably.
I just want to look.
I
more
can't
like
remember what the site was.
I want some of that gray.
I think I was looking at give it a couple years. You got a son. I'm sure it'll happen.
You'll get it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, since I shaved my mullet, man, I got grays everywhere.
It's definitely gonna come. All right, let's talk about this now. Of course, we haven't really talked about what we were supposed to talk about.
Well, we kind of did.
We've covered some.
I think we got a couple of them.
Maybe three of them.
What is the number one bass technique that transitions into trout fishing, trophy trout fishing? What is the number one bass technique?
There's several things that you've got just like I was saying, like streamers for the flies,
right?
Cranks and jerk baits, and jigs.
But what's the number one? You got to pick one for the rest of your life. What are you doing? You pick one bass technique for the rest of your life.
Bruh.
And yeah, Mac, he
Yeah,
does look like
I
Uncle
will
Si.
be.
He
I will
does.
be hucking meat for sure. I don't
Hucking
know.
meat like swim bait meat, jerk bait meat.
Could be all the above. I mean, that's what
I
they
like
call.
how you don't give away all the
Hucking the
secrets.
meat.
He don't know.
bruh.
He's sly. He's a sly joker.
Well, there's a reason.
I know. I know. I got you.
Somebody once told me that there's nothing wrong with showing the results,
Ain't that
Right.
the truth?
but
Right.
not to focus on necessarily the lure that got you there, but the methods and strategies that got you there.
I agree with you. My job's always try to get you to say that.
Oh, I know
You
that.
understand that, right?
I get that.
I totally dig you. You're definitely good.
When you gonna get Alex up here with you one day?
What I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
do is I'm gonna get Alex and his wife up here with Danny and I talked briefly about that.
Mhm.
We'll talk about that a little more afterwards. But yes, we want to get Alex Green and Jessica Green on here.
Hashtag green team.
They are
Hashtag green
an
team. I like
incredible
that.
fishing couple. If you guys go check out my page, you can go look for Jessica Outdoors, I think Georgia Girl Outdoors. And Alex Green Fishing. They fish a lot in Georgia for shoal bass, stripers, big largemouth, big brown trout. They go up for muskie. I mean, it don't matter.
You didn't answer if they're catching muskie in Georgia. I asked you this last episode.
They are not catching muskie in
Okay.
Georgia yet.
Arigato.
They
Yeah.
have been
What do you mean
tested
yet?
Arigato.
Arigato.
Arigato. I
because
don't know what that means. I sound like a
Oh.
Spaniard. Takuma.
thank you, Takuma.
Arigato.
Arigato.
Look at Eric Payne pulling
Eric,
out.
oh, look at that. Eric Payne.
Arigato, Takuma-san. Okay,
Very
listen.
nice.
You say arigato.
You know what? We really got some smart guys that watch this show.
We
Hey,
do.
he's just been watching the Karate Kid
It
series
does
on
not.
Netflix.
I don't think the Karate Kid puts that out, but whatever. Good comeback.
Daniel,
Still, I'm impressed. Listen, this is all great. We had somebody in Japan watching tonight.
That's
I
pretty
told you
awesome.
we're growing upstairs. You're like, oh, we ain't getting that
I know we're growing, but I'm a good group. So Craig Blackwell chimes in. Carolina rig wacky worm. Only smaller, great bass fishing technique for trout.
And he's absolutely right. There's a worm. They're either called squirmy worms or San Juan worms in the fly fishing world. Typically, you're talking about something that's only that big. I've seen guys tie them to where they're bigger,
right,
and use them for trout. They can also use them for other things as well. But yeah, a Carolina rigging like that would work fine. Or you just put it down on the bottom, with you have that basically drop shotted. I've seen guys using that as well.
Okay. Are you ready now, Blake?
Blake's rushing. He's
He's
rushing.
Hey,
Lock
I
and
know.
load.
Hey,
Listen,
listen.
You got
I know
5 minutes. Let's book
yes,
it.
exactly. I know how Danny is. He don't like to go over.
Oh, he's
turns
not
it-
going to
oh,
go
he
over at 2:15.
Yeah.
2:15 we'll be talking.
No, he
Yeah.
goes. He turns
That
into a
goes over
pumpkin
every
about
once in a
10
while.
o'clock.
All right,
so-
y'all ready for
Shut
some
up
rapid?
and ask the question.
Hey,
Shut up and ask the
who's
question.
got the box? All right, first question. Favorite adult beverage? Busch Light.
Start with you. You.
Who?
You.
Paul.
Favorite adult beverage?
Oh, give me a beer, man.
What kind of beer? Break it down. Come on.
Whatever the one in my hand
No,
is.
Lord.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to be for me.
Whatever.
too.
What do you like?
Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark. I'm a Busch Light guy. Next
Maker's
question.
Mark. Not even
Busch.
close. Because you guys are like, yeah, Maker's Mark.
Lure you're learning in 21.
What lure are you going to try to master?
I'm still
2020?
working with the swim bait in 21.
Glides and much bigger streamers.
I'm going to try to learn how to throw big swim bait per Jeremiah.
Glide bait as well. Hey, Bass Sanity at Fish North Georgia. Awesome baits, great looking colors. Come pick one up.
That's right.
Antidote,
Only place
antidote.
in Georgia that's got them right
Yep.
there. There you
All
go.
right, next question.
Corona Mac Doyle.
Jerk bait retrieve. That's a depending on the year question, really. Let's say
Yeah.
right now. You're throwing a jerk bait right now.
They're ready to eat right now.
Yep.
You can be aggressive. Jerk, pause, jerk, pause, jerk, pause. I mean, you can hammer it.
I'm going to say you go until you find what the fish want.
That's a good one. Daddy.
Whatever gets you there the quickest.
That's it.
Jerk pause, jerk pause.
Jerk, whatever.
I'm
floats your
after
boat.
I'm
I don't
him
throw
right now.
jerk baits. There you go.
You messing up.
I know. I got figured out. You want me to read it for you?
I don't understand this question. It says fizz
Or weights? Do you
Fizz or weights?
fizz a
Fizz or
fish or
weights.
do you throw weights?
Yep.
Now this is gonna be more of a
You
bass
don't-
fishing
you
thing.
Don't have a live well, don't have that problem.
Okay.
That's right. He measures. Yeah. I heard an interesting thing about trout though. Now I heard that trout are one of the few fish that do not have a bladder like
A
like
swim
spot-
bladder?
like
Yeah.
a they have it.
They do have a swim
They
bladder.
do, but it does not blow up like a spot, or they have the ability to burp it out, belch it out,
Yes.
fix it
They
themselves compared to other
do.
fish.
They do.
That trout have that ability.
They do.
Okay, so there you go. So I'm a weight guy.
I do like the weights. Fish in North Georgia started carrying the weights. I'm not a fan of fizzing because if you miss, you can hurt the fish. I'm against that. I'm a really big fan of the weights. Like I said, Danny and them started carrying the weights. If you guys catch deep spots and you don't like to fizz, come up here, get some weights, and they will.
Yeah, I've read about them.
They will make a changer. You put them things on the bottom of the fin.
It's the best way to do it.
Sink them to the bottom of the live well. They're good.
Best way to do it.
We ain't doing that one.
He said no.
I ain't doing that one.
What was that?
Well, yeah, we'll do that one. Favorite angler.
Flip Hallett.
Flip's such a cool dude. I enjoy talking to him.
I kind of hate you for having met him.
I know. I just talked to him.
Jelly,
I
bro.
just talked to him on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's cool as hell, dude.
Sliding in those DMs ASAP.
Like a woman.
I don't know. That's a tough one, man.
No shame in my game, dude.
Probably Orlando Wilson, man. To be honest with you, just because I watched him so much as a kid.
Okay.
So
Drove by his house all the time over on 92.
my answer would be me.
You're
Me, I am my favorite angler.
Oh hell!
But
Little
I'd like
confidence.
listen,
Hey, he's got all the confidence. What's he done the past two
that's
tournaments?
right. Dead last, dead last
Hey.
dinks. If I could.
Hey, I
But
don't think
I
he's
tell
caught
you who
a
I would like
fish.
to know.
Oh,
Here's who I would like to know.
No
I'd like
level
to meet that
self-love.
Spanish fly joker.
Spanish.
Jose?
Jose,
That is-
whatever,
that's
on the
gonna be
Spanish
difficult.
fly, ESPN. Is he dead? Did you say it was going to be difficult?
I
Is
was
he
trying
dead?
to be diplomatic.
Is he dead?
Yes, yes,
Is he
he
dead? Well,
is. He passed
sheesh.
away.
Hey, you'll
You know what? Hey, listen. Well, I'd
maybe
love
when
to
you
meet
go home
Jesus
one of these
too in
days.
person,
Exactly.
like that. But I'll take him though.
Mine's Jared Swindle.
Oh,
So-
good grief!
Selfie fear.
What?
That's got to be one Paul put in there because
No,
Yeah,
that's not me.
It says a selfie fear. Like I guess.
Selfie? What? Let me see.
Paul has no fear of taking selfies of
yeah,
himself.
Paul does nothing but take selfies.
Dude, I take a lot. I used to never take a selfie. I take a bunch now.
Okay, well that episode, this section.
Species something.
Where is there a
that's
P in
something
that? Where is
dude.
there?
That says
Your
say
favorite
species.
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 There is
Favorite.
no favorite on that.
That's a V.
FAV.
Yeah.
So y'all
is,
need
that, is that a species? Oh, favorite species.
How did
favorite
you get? Hold on a
species.
second, there, orangutan.
Don't even
Listen,
start.
orangutan.
Hey, we're done rapid fire. Hush. Come
did-
on.
Orange Tuan.
Uh,
How did you even get?
Shut up.
you get
Nick.
selfie
I
out of
can't
that?
read. I got a third grade education. Okay.
Brown trout.
Brown trout.
I'm gonna have to say brown trout.
Danny.
Channel
Easily.
catfish.
Really?
Absolutely.
He's throwing
Okay.
that out
I
of
love
left field.
channel
He's
cat.
lying.
They're fun. I'm not gonna lie, they're fun to catch.
I don't catch a lot of them, but I'd say smallmouth.
Okay.
Man,
They're
Can
neat.
you
They're
put me on
neat.
some smallies?
oh, smallmouth are so.
Can you
fun.
put me on some smallies?
Oh man, you got to go to Arkansas or Tennessee. man.
Yeah, Tennessee definitely.
Two more.
Dude, that y'all got
Again?
so favorite angler again. And I literally just wadded
You
that
did.
up. And threw it back in
Barday
there.
is my hero. That's I should have said Barday.
Hey, whole milk or 2%.
Give me that.
Chocolate.
Give me that cream top. That's what I want.
I like whole milk, baby.
cream top. Whole
You
milk.
who?
Something like that. All right, last one.
All
Last
right,
one.
last one, guys. Damn.
Ever caught a shoal bass?
Yeah,
Hell, I can
ever-
read it from here.
No, I've never caught a damn shoal bass.
Have you ever caught a shoal bass?
Yes,
Ain't
one.
you just good?
Huh?
Yes, not a big one, but
No,
yes.
I have not. I have not.
That's
So-
a bad way to
Would
I'm sorry,
recommend-
that's a
would
bad
recommend
way.
and I'd
Sit
do
there
it
looking at
again.
I
pronounce
don't
it.
have enough experience with the shoal bass, but I have caught a fair amount of smallmouth now, and I would hands down say that smallmouth blow largemouth and spot out of the water.
That is a fact.
Dude, they're mean, dude.
They smallmouth are of a different breed, and that shoal bass that it came
Also
out.
mean.
It literally came. So I give shoal bass the edge over smallmouth because you will catch those fish in the widest water that you can imagine, where you're like, that is fast as hell. There is no way a fish is going to be living in there. Toss a jig up in there, guarantee you'll get smacked.
It's
You know what?
They love. That's why they're called shoal bass. They live directly in the shoal.
I'm gonna call somebody out. That's Stephen Barday.
Yeah.
He
Well,
likes he likes to get on here. He likes to get on his little keyboard, start talking
Just
shit.
Hold on a second.
But he won't come up here and hang out with us.
He will. He told me I've got a gentleman. He's going to
It's
come
so
on with
awesome,
William
Mac.
Fletcher. He's going to be
Telling you.
So
he's a big boy now, dude. I ain't
hey,
getting
we
in front
can
of
take him.
Ain't no weed.
Savannah
fight.
River below
Ain't no way
Hartwell.
about it.
Huh?
Savannah River below Hartwell.
They're
River, that's
hybrids.
right.
They're hybrids with Bartram and
Yes.
spots and all sorts of stuff. But yeah,
Right.
that's
Hiwassee Lake has them.
Yep.
It's probably about the closest you're
You
going to
talking about Smallies?
Yeah.
Hawassee, Appalachia, you go up
Talking
Tennessee
about Fight
River.
Club too much, man.
Fight Club.
Fight Club. What are you talking about?
Don't worry about some movie before you.
I know what Fight Club is, but where did that get brought into this conversation?
What about? I know that real. There's another one that y'all probably haven't said.
What's that?
Notley.
The
Smallies
smallmouth.
and Notley.
Y'all are thinking of the wrong place.
Up the river.
There you go. Now you're using that freaking noggin.
Very rarely do I do it, but I
How
do.
far up the river?
No, I've been told.
You've been told that you don't know if it's true.
But no, I do know.
Brandon Hallman
I've been told
Cooper.
by
I'm still working
DNR
on that, buddy. We're gonna get him on here.
that they have shocked, and there have been recorded.
We just
smallmouth
listed 3
catches
places,
there.
Mac.
But is that like
That's right.
like you could go up there and catch them on a consistent basis?
I don't know.
Well,
I
see,
haven't.
that's the thing.
I've only
If-
driven down there. I
if-
haven't
if-
spent the time to
I
fish.
feel like if you're going to catch smallies on a consistent basis, you need to ride up to Appalachia, Hiwassee.
yes.
Now
I
there,
agree with that.
there's a lake up around.
Fontana's got them.
Yeah, Fontana's
Yeah.
got it, but it's getting taken over by the spots, like all the
Ruined.
other ones. It's getting ruined. Exactly. The lake up in Knoxville, Lake Cherokee. It's not that far of a drive. I think it's about 3 hours, 3.5. There's no spots. All it is smallmouth
And largemouth.
stripers and largemouth.
If you're
So-
going that
presti-
far into Tennessee, you may as well just go to like Pickwick or Dale Hollow.
That's in Alabama.
Is that?
Yeah, they
Pickwick's in
Pickwick-
Alabama.
Pickwick.
Dale Hollow.
Hey,
Dale
the,
Hollow's
the,
Tennessee.
the next Bassmaster
Go to
tournament.
Chickamauga. You can catch smallies there.
You can though.
You can, but don't go to Chickamauga. You need to go to
You need to go to the dam.
no.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I've
here
been
we
to
go.
the dam. If you're going to try to go
I
catch
was gonna end
smallmouth
it,
on
but here we
Chickamauga,
go.
no, we're going to talk a little more about smallmouth. If you're
Sure,
going to
why
catch
not?
smallmouth,
Going deep.
you need to go not to Chickamauga, but the lake below it that backs up to it. I talk about it all the time. I can't think of it. Nickajack. Nickajack's
Nickajack.
got a lot more smallmouth. You can actually go up to the dam at Nickajack.
Yeah, both of them. You're right.
Yep. I've caught my first smallmouth actually came out of Chickamauga, but we've seen a lot bigger smallmouth caught out in Nickajack.
I can see
And a
that.
lot more consistent. Too.
Yeah.
There's actually more grass in Nickajack too. Chickamauga ain't got the grass. So if you want to go flip and everything,
That's where you go.
go to Nickajack. It's a lot better. But if you actually want to go to a lake that is just full of smallmouth, it's pristine. There's nothing in there killing them out right now or anything. You need to ride up to Lake Cherokee. Like I said, it's about a 3.5 hour drive. They're deep, but they come up shallow, spawn and everything like that. Or Pickwick, the next Bassmaster next Bassmaster tournament is on Pickwick, and they're projecting 100 pounds is going to win it with smallies.
That's insane.
That's like 2 of the articles I've seen.
Holy.
Those
I don't-
Sturgeon
don't-
Bay numbers.
I don't know if y'all.
Seriously.
I don't know if y'all have like seen some of the fish caught out there, but God, they're huge. They're
That
so
is
big.
now. I have been told that there's a creek that you can run up on Gunnersville that's literally cold.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe
It's
maybe
mountainous
way
up there.
back up the river, way back.
I don't
up,
know
like
which.
past Goose Pond and all that. Probably.
I don't know which. He
Yeah.
wouldn't specify, but one of the guys I fish with, he's told me numerous times you can go up there and there's actually smallmouth as well as big striper you can
Well,
catch up there.
The guy from Tennessee, he used to fish FLW. He just caught the dang Texas record smallmouth in Texas.
I love how you get shaking his head.
Well, I'm just saying, dude, it was a giant. I don't
I
The
Texas-
Texas,
I
the
didn't even
Texas
know-
record where?
smallmouth.
I mean, I guess it makes
Where?
sense. they
I
have
don't remember
smallmouth.
what lake it was, but he posted a picture.
But it was in Texas.
I can't think of his
That's
name.
sweet.
Yeah, it's in Texas.
That's sweet that they got smallmouth down there.
Apparently they do.
It's a good thing it was the Texas record.
Yeah,
Hey,
apparently.
Texas record.
But
in
no,
Texas. There we go.
anywhere on the Tennessee River, you have a chance to run into smallmouth. Some places
Yep.
are better than the other, but
Yeah.
Tennessee River's got them in
Same thing when I fished the Cumberland. Same thing. That's all those rivers are
there.
tied
Where's
in.
the Cumberland at?
It's Kentucky,
Kentucky.
but that runs into
You got Kentucky Lake.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was about to say that
Yeah.
runs into Kentucky Lake, which runs into all the other rivers.
The only bad thing about Kentucky Lake, they're getting eat up with them carp right now. Those Asian carp.
Oh, everywhere
Yeah,
is.
That's the bad thing. If those Asian carp make it down here, Which there's a possibility they could.
Game over, man.
Yeah.
Game over.
And they destroy any fishery. You know,
They do.
The Asian carp rip.
Those are the jokers that jump when the boats
Yeah.
go by.
Dude, we went duck hunting like we're getting so off topic. We went duck hunting up in Arkansas last year, up around Dyersburg, not Dyersburg, that's Tennessee. Up around Max Prairie Rings, whatever town that was. We put it in a pond. It was 15 degrees. I went idling across the pond. There's Asian carp jumping.
Yep.
In Arkansas.
Yep.
That's in a lake. In a lake that got flooded by the river with some of the rains that year.
And they were all in there. Yep.
I mean,
I've
just
heard that.
jumping all around. Duck boat. We're sitting here dodging them and shit.
Okay, I got you. All right, so 2 hours and 6 minutes. I'm gonna give each one of you a last word.
6'8", Jacob Luke Duncan.
All right,
He
That
just
was in
wasted
Texas.
his last word
all right,
right
so
there.
you just wasted
Hey,
your last.
That was
word right
that was
there,
the
actually.
smallmouth that Luke
So-
Duncan caught
so
in
Paul-
Texas.
Paul, I'll give you a last word. What everything?
I got a few. I'll remind everybody, Fishing for Warriors tournament.
Mhm.
Check out Fishing for Warriors Kayak Tourney on Facebook or reach out to Justin Speacer and myself.
Yep.
March 20th, Lake Lanier. The following week, March 27th, GAKFL Event 2, also Lake Lanier. Check us out, Georgia Kayak Fishing League on Facebook or GAKFL members group. And also Stealth Rod Holders. Love you guys. Thanks for taking care of me.
Is that not
All
insane?
right,
Check
guy,
it out.
how about you there? Phil?
Well, I
You got
want
a last word?
to, I want to give a shout out to Cortland Lines again for just making some really awesome line products that I
Yep.
use on my conventional and flag gear, and for having me on their pro team. Great folks. I want to give a shout out to a gentleman named Big T. He is opening up a fly shop in Clarksville. It will be let me look at it real quick.
That's a kui or
Where's your show sheet?
Soquoi River Outfitters. It's going to be a full stop fly shop as well as guide experience. And he's a gentleman that should have on the show here.
Okay.
He does a huge amount of guiding for cold water and some warm water species. As I mentioned before, Captain John McCloskey with the Knack River Camp up there in Alaska. He does guide here half the year. That's who I work with and guide with here as well. And those are a couple of the guys that I definitely recommend checking out.
okay. All right, and I will. You got anything, Blake?
Once again, guys, give us a like, give us a follow. Follow
Mhm.
us on everything we got. YouTube comments, or not YouTube comments, but YouTube's been dropping a ton of new videos.
They have
A lot of new guide videos.
What
Like I said-
what about your hat there, big?
Yeah. Hey, like I said, I think every week I'm going to start wearing a different company's hat.
Dog? If we got it, yeah,
If we got it, hey, if y'all want to promote a company, want to get it on the show, bring me a hat. I think I'm going to start rocking the old school hats. I'm not going to lie, but this is Georgia Blade hat. We love having Georgia Blade in the store. They make some great baits, great prices and everything. I know y'all have got a ton of selections.
Throw the blade, it'll get you paid.
Throw the
Throw the blade will
to
get you paid. Once again, FX rods. We appreciate having FX rods up here. Amazing rods. Like I said, I've got one of the jig rods and one of the swim bait rods. Absolutely love them. They're amazing. As much sensitivity as these rods have, you can feel a fish come up and sniff your bait. They're absolutely insane. We want to say thank you to the cheese curds. Like I said,
Wyowega?
Wyowega cheese. I'm not a cheese fan, but hey, after tonight, I think I'm going to slip a bag of these in Old Ford and head to the house because those were good. I'm not going to lie. but
They're very good. They're very
we
good.
appreciate everybody coming and hanging out again. Like I said, like, share, tell your friends. This has been a great episode. It's been fun. I mean, I love these
Yeah, it's been
episodes. I
fun.
love these episodes when we get on here, shoot the shit, talk, give out some information. It's been great.
That's absolutely right.
Danny has a tournament next week. No, it's the 20th.
20th.
He's got a tournament on the 20th. Send up some prayers. Maybe they won't zero. They can actually catch a fish this
That's
tournament.
exactly right.
You know, they're sitting
That's
in dead
plan.
last right
Exactly
now.
right.
So
That's okay. We went into the season understanding that we were going to finish dead last. That's
you've
why
been
it's
saying
called
that the whole time. You know, I
It's
was like,
the
they're-
electric elite, and
Yeah.
we're not elite. We're making them the elites.
You're
That's good.
electric.
See,
They're electric.
thought he was bullshit about the finishing last, but
no
two tournaments in, no
I mean,
fish
Fish
played.
against
If
the
you ain't
best
first,
of the
you're last.
best.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, if I needed a sweet new electric motor,
Yeah, who do we
My
check
I know
out?
ride, who-
exactly.
who
You
do I-
go to
who do
Fish
I check
North
in with?
Georgia, and we not only we sell Elko and e-propulsion. We got both of those and Makota. And if you're looking for a sonar, we can get you Humminbird, Lowrance, and Simrad. Any of that. I'm working on the Garmin
Yeah.
stuff.
All
right
you got to
there,
do,
so.
guys, is come up here and speak with Mr. Danny himself. He can get you
That's
hooked
right.
up on anything.
That's right. The shop tomorrow, which will be today's date is what, the 4th?
Right.
Today's the
Fifth.
4th. So yeah, 5th, 6th, wherever we're at, will be I'll be there on Friday. till 5 o'clock, and we'll be here Saturday as well. So about 9 to open to close. That's it. We don't have any really set hours, but we will be here tomorrow, JT Fishing. And again, like Blake said, you go to YouTube and subscribe and click that notification bell so that anytime a guide video drops, you'll be notified, stuff like that. And of course, these live videos and anything else we do, that any new content will be dropped. Facebook group page. Make sure you like and follow us there. Instagram at Fish North Georgia. Twitter at Fish North GA. And TikTok is at what, Josh? Fish North Georgia. Josh does the TikToks. But anyway.
And guys, we know there wasn't a lot of people watching tonight, but seriously, this was a great episode. Share it and get it out. Like it's been really informational. A lot of guys probably didn't watch because it was brought up as a trout episode.
Yeah.
But there's been so much information. This guy right here, we can't thank him enough. He's full of knowledge. Anywhere from bass to trout. I mean, I respect the hell out of him.
Yeah, it's fishing, and that's the whole thing. Is I understand we live in the state where we've got amazing bass fisheries, but if we talk to the state, we can definitely have just as good cold water fisheries, which would include more striper water, and the option for other species that were once here, such as muskie, actually return. So
boy, I'd have a heart attack.
You can already tell by the reaction right here. So we keep having these conversations and bring this stuff up to DNR. That's how we make change.
That's it. And we're trying to bring a higher intellect to the fishing world. You got to think a little bit. It's a little more than just showing up.
And to take an approach to get the muskies back and make some of the cold waters, what do we need to do?
Well, one thing.
Let's just start a whole new episode.
I know.
Just a short thing. What would you like to see done to help with some of these cold
Blake.
waters?
The more that we can reach out to the DNR and let them know what we'd like to do or like to see. More emphasis on cold water fisheries, add in muskie. In other states, they are now stocking tiger trout. Georgia just passed a amendment to the Georgia code, which now includes tiger trout in there, which means that they can be brought in and stocked in state as well.
Oh, okay.
Tiger trout, just a little caveat on that. Tiger trout don't spawn. They're genetically bred to be triploid, so they can't spawn. So all those fish do is eat and get huge.
Gotcha.
They're cool looking too.
They are very beautiful fish. But
awesome.
We as anglers are responsible for seeing the change we want to see in the state, because we pay the taxes, we pay the salaries, we pay the budget for the DNR.
I totally agree with that.
If we want to see the change, we got to work together and make our voice heard, and they will respond.
Like you said, we pay the taxes and everything, and I don't see a lot of things being done also.
No, you got to get involved. You can't just say, "Hey, I want to see it." You got to get out there and do the work.
You absolutely do.
Got to do the work. All right, so guys, anyway, look, another great episode. We definitely want you to share it. I think I'm of all the things you guys said is awesome, but I'm most proud of the fact that somebody in Japan was watching this show tonight.
Amazing. That was really cool.
A couple of guys here in Georgia could put a show. What'd you say? What was that word that you said?
Arigato.
Arigato and whatever.
Thank you.
Thank you. Arigato to Takamua or whatever his name was. Takuma. Hey, listen, I'm this old country boy from Georgia, but I thought that was awesome. So I can finally, somebody in Japan watched our show now. I thought that was awesome. But guys, again, share this. Let everybody know every Tuesday and Thursday night. We do this little show right here. We'll keep continuing to bring you some high quality guests and try to expand your knowledge a little bit as we go. And we learn at the same pace too. So anytime I get a guest on, like Phil, I'm paying attention just like you guys are. So we appreciate you. We love you. Keep the comments going if you want that. And if not, you guys have a great, blessed weekend. Get out and do some fishing. And we will see you next
Post on the page. We want to see some fish catches, guys.
That's right. Awesome. So
38 pounds and change, Jonathan, if I remember correctly.
There you go.
State record muskie.
So, all right, guys, we'll see you later.
We love you. Take it easy, guys.